see, and then you see the flash. My loins are filled like darkened clouds. Evil has no chance. All shall tremble before the storm that gathers in my pants. Turns out being struck by lightning doesn't give you any powers. They caved my head in with a pipe and beat me for several hours. But as I lay there half conscious, with my nuts exposed to air, I looked up to the blackened sky and said an ancient prayer. Lord, if you're there, please infuse my nuts with the power of 1,000 suns. Holy shit, you're real? Let there be thunder and lightning! Acorn shot from the tree of life! Thunder and lightning! High voltage nerves lighting up the night! Mighty balls gifted from Odin's house! Thunder and lightning! Suck 'em!
Are we live? Yes, so we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to an exciting Saturday stream. God damn it, Rye. I thought you were going to give me the snorkel. The snorkel would have been great for today, but no, fuck. Where today we are hopping into a bit of a demo that I encountered recently. There's a free demo currently available on Steam for an upcoming game called Primordial Empire. This is a bit of a colony builder or management game. Cover that face, weather boy. You're a weather boy. I'll kick your fucking ass. Where today we will be building up our little microscopic colony, a tiny little army of tardigrades, and seeking to conquer the entirety of whatever environment we get dropped into. But, before we get into all of that, I have a simple question for all of y'all. How have your weeks been? How are your weekends shaping up to be? And most importantly, how are you all doing today? I am excited because I put in a bit of effort this morning to build up a new thumbnail for an upcoming stream I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I don't know how many of you have been here for each of the announcements, but I'm doing another collab stream tomorrow with Richard. That's right, a Sunday stream where we are going to be doing something very, very goofy. One sec. I'll see if I can get this up and let's show off. And I worked really hard to create a thumbnail based off of a game series I haven't played. That's right. Tomorrow, Richard and I are going to be doing a bit of a drinking game where he is going to try to impart onto me the entirety of the lore of the Metal Gear series. And we're going to have a series of rules for different reactions that we will have to drink whenever they are done. Doing good. I just got called a slur and cod. Yeah, that sounds like how COD works. I'm not too surprised to hear that about someone playing COD. Nothing will make sense, and it'll make less sense as you drink. Take a shot every time you don't understand something. Well, I do have the first draft of the rules he sent me. I am able to counter back with my own suggestions, and we can make some edits. So maybe this is a perfect thing for us to kind of start up the stream with. I'll read off you guys of the rules, and maybe we'll see if there's any rules we want to add or fire back with, okay? So here are the rules for the drinking game. Feel free to add more if you think it'll be fun. Let's see here. Number 1, anytime Eric gets mad, confused, or exasperated, take a drink. We might have to set some more specifics on that. I mean, like, you know, like I have to be verbally mad or something. Anytime Richard goes, it turns out, take a drink. Anytime Richard mentions a really stupid character name, take a drink. Anytime Richard has to consult the wiki, take a drink. Richard does an impression from the game, take a drink. Anytime something doesn't make sense and either of us try to correct the facts, take a drink. We finish a game story and move on to the next game. Okay, so take a drink in between each game. And anytime Richard goes on a long tangent, take a drink. All right, one rule I'm gonna want to add, and this is gonna be horrible for me. Let's see here. 9 rule for Eric. Whenever Eric says, let me see if I understand. Yeah, I think if this is gonna be as bad as you guys are saying, there's gonna be moments where he's gonna finish explaining something. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Let me see if I get this. So, let me see, understand, and fully restates the point. There we go. That seems good. Take a shot whenever Armstrong is quoted. Ah! What just happened? Oh no! Ah! 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 What's happening? 1 second. Fucking Fugi and VTube Studio are being a bit weird. Alright, we seem to be mostly good. I could turn off all my... I'm not using Fugi today, so we could turn that off. Without... Oh no! I'm not getting tracked? Testing? Alright, we seem to be back. Well, that was weird. Don't know what happened there, but something happened with Fugi, and I guess VTube Studio for a split second there. I mean, is the stream doing okay? Are we solid for you guys? Let's hear. This is like a Boondocks drinking game where they took a shot every time Ruckus was racist. Oh, God. Oh, God. If you take a shot every time you don't understand. No, so it's whenever I become verbally angry or exasperated. Okay, stream's fine. That's good to hear. You want to take a shot whenever Armstrong is quoted. This is just drink to death the game. Eric at the end is gonna just be like standing here. I realized. Speed running liver failure. Stream's fine. Okay. So I don't know. Are there any other fun rules? Are there any other rules you guys could think of that like hit fun? Because like the fun marker for us is going to be a rule that feels like basically the more rules we can do. That is the every time, you know, if I had a nickel for every time this happened, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's crazy that it's happened twice. Will we get a drink counter? I could set up a drink counter. I have a spoiler one, so I won't say it. Oh, gosh. I got another rule I'm adding. 10. Every time chat earnestly tries to correct lore and chat is wrong, Whoa. No, that just is, and chat is right. We drink both. All right, all right. I'm adding a rule for you guys, essentially. Every time you're able to accurately correct Richard on lore, we drink. You know, give him some real inspiration to get all of this right, you know? Are we going to get into any side games or just the main one? I have no clue what Richard's planning, really. Essentially, he sounded really excited about the idea of trying to explain this lore to me. Hell, I mean, I had to build a thumbnail based off of me just Googling insane moments while avoiding spoilers. Like, do you guys see what I have here? Do you see how I've constructed this thumbnail? I feel like I did a great job with it, but I also feel like there's like nothing on here. So we have the silent, you know, over there, or the quiet, or whatever the fuck she's called. We have this dude. We got some fucking cake right here. We have the guy, I know he pisses his pants, and the quote that was under this photo was, "This is just like my Japanese anime." You did a pretty good job, and sure of most of the things here. Okay. There was something where there was a hat. There's this dude in this weird suit. I got some soju on screen here. We got this guy, his eye fucking bugging out. Johnny pissin'. Oh, wait, the otaku? Yeah, otaku pissy pants. I have no clue. I don't know any of the lore of this game, so making this thumbnail was an absolute time for me on how do I get a bunch of crazy images without actually spoiling anything. And I hope I did a good job. I hope I did a good job constructing this. Oh, you know what? I should move one of these. Yeah, the one that's right behind his shoulder. I should bring this. So it's actually... Ah, no, don't grab the shadow. Grab the post-it note. Stick it here. A little more center. Yeah, that looks a bit. That looks better. That looks a bit better. Maybe I should bring this one down? Nah, because that one needs to have the gap for the cord there. Yeah, that'll be fine. Small box on Tonla would be cool. If you have seen Snake's taunt in Smash, it's related to that. Alright, I'll Google what the hell Tonla is. So Metal Gear... Tonla? That doesn't seem to be a thing. Table? Metal Gear table. Metal Gear Solid table? Search Metal Gear box. Metal Gear game. Box. You mean just the cardboard box thing? Ooh, wait, I should add one thing that I'm seeing here. So, Metal Gear question mark. That would be good to grab that from the game to put over my head. But I don't know how easy it is to grab that image in a clean way. 1 second. Sorry, I shouldn't be using this time to do this, but we'll see if I could grab and blow this up. This image seems too small for me to actually make good use of. So layer, crop to selection. Yeah, ain't no way. If I blow this up, this is gonna look shit as hell. If I take this to like 300 pixels even. Yeah, even if I filter... maybe it won't be truly dreadful, but it's not gonna look good. Yeah, I'm gonna just do a quick shit job and see just how I feel about the impression of it. Yeah, that's not so good. Yeah. You think exclamation point? All right, 1 second. Metal Gear game exclamation? Like, I'm getting pictures of exclamation points, but I don't know if they're really standing out as being Metal Gear specific, you know? Yeah, I don't know. They're not really. All right, here's one. Is this from Metal Gear? All right, we'll try this one. This might be a big enough image to actually be usable. I'm not so sure. We'll fucking erase everything. Do a good like fuzzy grab. A little more forgiving on that fuzzy grab. Layer, crop to content, layer, scale. That's not really working. Let's see here. Crop to content. What are you detecting? All right, y'all. Let's see your scale. We'll go up to 200. Ah, 200 too big. Understood. Scale, what, maybe 50? Yeah, I don't think that's going to read too well. I also don't have a lot of vertical space to work with on this image. I just think it'd be interesting, but I don't think I need to do it. Alright. So we'll save that. That looks good. So yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking at doing on Sundays. Just a bit of a drinking game tomorrow. So for any of y'all who are big Metal Gear fans or want to join us for a bit of a drinking stream, that is what we'll be doing. It'll be a bit later than my usual stream start, but hopefully we'll be able to get deep into it very quickly and just get going on this ridiculousness. I'll be mostly relying on Richard though, because I have no fucking clue how that game works. I don't know what levels he's thinking of. We in the Primordial soup today. We are Ultima. We were just talking about what we're going to be
Fox
doing.
For one Snorlax, Fox for one Snorlax, Fox for one Snorlax, Fox for one Snorlax, Fox for one Snorlax.
We were discussing Sunday stream, me and Richard drinking and talking about Metal Gear lore, and I was showing off the thumbnail I'd made for that. But you make a very good point. It is time for us to hippity hop into the Primordial soup. So, as I mentioned, today we're actually checking out a demo. So this is a free demo, so if any of you end up thinking you might like this game, you can add it to your wish list on Steam or try out the demo yourself. But this is Primordial Empire. This is made by, 1 second, I'll go see if we can pull up the studio. The publisher is Slug Disco. The developer is Mark A. Zust. I don't think, yeah, the developer hasn't made anything else. And the publishing house has a few things called Horticulture, Ecosystem. They seem to do a lot of bug and plant-based games from this publishing house, but yeah, this is the developer's first ever game. I think it's being made solo from what I can tell about it. But this is a fun little game. I've played through all the tutorials myself. Yeah, we could do that.
Art a great army. Time to rise
yeah. The basic premise of this game is we start as a little hive mind, essentially. We start as this little hive core deep in the ocean, and we spawn out these little cells. I believe in the game they're called stem cells, but I'm not 100% sure. These little guys, they fly around, through the water, and they eat little protein pellets. I think it's protein? I don't know. They eat little nutrient pellets, and as they eat it, they produce plasma. And plasma is the main resource we use to create other things. So the stem cells aren't actually us, we're the hive mind, but we seem to feed off of their waste. So they eat nutrients, they produce plasma, we use plasma to make other things, like little plants that'll shoot out more nutrient pellets for more stem cells to eat. We make little plants that dig up the minerals of the ground and expose it so we can make use of those minerals to make more complex things. There are little feeder cells we can make, and they'll eat the stem cells to produce protein that can make other plants grow quicker or can allow us to grow plants where there isn't nutrients. There's a lot of things to balance in this game, and it's very great. And it reminded me, when I was first playing the tutorial, it reminded me of this old Flash game. I don't even slightly remember the name of it, but it was about, let's see here, old Flash game, platypuses making a cell? Yes, there was this really old Cellcraft, is what this person's thinking. There was this old Flash game I played as a kid that I fucking loved, where you were basically controlling just a single cell organism at first, and you were trying to evolve it and develop it into like a fully fledged cell. And at the very end of the game, they're like, yeah, you're actually a platypus that's been seeded to Earth by a platypus society. And this game was insane because it was like unnecessarily detailed and educational. Like as you're developing cell, at some point you develop mitochondria and you need to feed the mitochondria certain amounts of like electrolytes or whatever. But it was like simple enough you could definitely play it as a kid, but was fully dedicated to doing cell development accurately. It was so ridiculous. And when I first saw this game, I'm like, God, this is reminding me of fucking Cellcraft. But it's a bit different since we're not actually a single cell, we're a colony. So let's get started. This game has two basic scenarios, economic scenario, combat scenario. We'll take them in order. Yes, there is combat in the game, but it's mostly focused around this economic building system. We grow, we explore, we expand, we recognize the world. We make it ours. This is where it begins. We find ourselves in a calm, sheltered niche, a place that invites growth. We take advantage of what this cove provides, growing our nest into a colony, our colony, into an empire, one cell at a time. We will find any space that is provided to us, one structure, one system, all woven together with purpose. We adapt, we persist, we flourish, and soon, nothing will compare to our splendor. Let's go. Eric, if you ever need a one-stream game or something, you should check out Kletka. All right. So, welcome to our new little colony boy. We've got some goals to get up to, but I'm gonna teach you all a little bit of how to play. Hey, we've got a colony builder. That, of course, means we have resources. We have plasma, our most basic of resource. This is produced by our stem cells eating food and producing waste. As you can see with our current stem cell count, we gain 8 plasma as an income. I don't think that's per second, but that's our income, is 8 plasma. There's also protein. We currently have no income of it, but we start with 20. There's mineral, and there is DNA. We also have a few specialty resources, including enzymes, salts, toxins, and sulfur. These are a bit rarer and relate to more specific little plants and creatures that we get to craft. As you can see right away, we already have some protein floating around up here, the green pellets. We have some nutrients that our little stem cells are going off to get. And we have the hive. This is the thing from everything is built. So, let's dive a little bit in deeper, and we can kind of break things down to the cellular stage. So, these are our stem cells. You can see they have their own little life cycle. While they're alive, they generate 1 plasma every 30 seconds. And once they've eaten enough food, they split into more stem cells. So, if you're able to make a nutrient-rich environment, the stem cells naturally split into more stem cells. We, however, have no way to force more stem cells out. So we are fully dependent on feeding them in order to allow our colony to grow. Now, how do we feed our stem cells? Well, the environment has some food particles floating naturally. We also have 5 uses of a special ability to summon food rations in a desperate moment. But the most basic way we feed things is by creating micro agave. These are little plants we can grow as long as we have fertile soil, which is marked out by this green environment piece, and sunlight. As you can see, there are places where we get this exclamation point that lets us know something is missing. So over here, there's no fertile soil. As we come onto the fertile soil, though, you see we lose that, which means we have just enough sunlight in this area for us to grow them. But if we move over to this fertile soil, you can see we still have the exclamation point because there's not enough sunlight reaching over here. So we are going to start up with the most basic. Ah, shoot. And one of them, it turns out, is actually not going to be getting sunlight, so we'll cancel that. So we'll build a bunch of agave so we can be shooting out nutrients to get our stem cells to be expanding quicker. See, our stem cells come down, they drop off their plasma to get these plants to grow. We're going to pause again, and you can see the plants first have to grow up, and then once they're grown, they make use of calories to produce out food. So we'll let our plants start to grow, and then eventually you'll see them reach full size, and then they'll spit food pellets out, and then our little guys will eat. But while we're waiting for that, we're going to go ahead and shoot out some attractive pheromones, just to get our stem cells to explore around into the areas we can't see yet. Basically sending our stem cells all over the place to reveal as much of the map as we can. But right around, what, here? We get further and further away. Remember, our stem cells also need to eat food to maintain themselves. So if we send them too far away, they could become trapped, or it could be, you can see this one getting smaller. They degrade too quickly over time and won't be able to return to where we do have food producing. So here you can see we have our agave shooting out food. We now have a constant small supply of food here. So, what to do next? Microbial farming. Yep. Another thing we could do is feeders. We'll hold off on feeders for now. So instead, we'll go on to our next core structure. This is a vesicle hub. This is our most basic hub building. Basically, making one of these expands our ability to build. You can see this big circle around our hive. That is the range we can build in. If we want to expand that, we need to make hubs that stretch out into new locations. So by dropping this hub over here, we can now build around. But also, our vesicle hubs produce vesicles, something our hive can't produce. These are big guys. These are big guys that get a little bit bigger than these guys do. And they're able to grab things like these protein and suck them into the hive. So by building this and letting it spawn, you can see we get a vesicle, which will go around and pick up these free-floating proteins and bring them into the hive. And as we get proteins, we'll be able to build more plants. So if you look at these micro agave that we built, you can say they require 1 protein and 1 mineral, but we have no production of those. So we do need to be careful how much of that we spend. So, how could we start producing protein and minerals? Protein is somewhat easy for us. All we need is a protein incubator. What protein incubators need to grow is fertile soil, but no sunlight. Sunlight actually makes it so they can't grow properly. So we have these little patches our plants couldn't grow in. So we'll go ahead and drop in 2 protein incubators right there and there. And we'll look at expanding out to here as well. And they'll start producing protein. But we have to make sure they are in range of this vesicle hub. Because if they're not, our hive can't pick them up. So they'll just produce proteins that are never actually gathered. So we have a very small production of protein. We could get a bit more going over here. So the other main resource we're going to need is minerals. Over here, you can see there are minerals growing out of the walls. And all we need for that is a mineral extractor. If we build a mineral extractor on these, they'll be able to dig their roots into it and produce constant minerals. But we don't have what we need to feed these plants. These plants are very, very nutrient expensive. So much so that our stem cells and our food pellets, all the things we have, can't actually maintain them. Instead, what we need is a more active system. What we need is a feeder hub. What a feeder hub produces are feeder cells. These are guys that'll fly around and eat our stem cells. And as they eat our stem cells, they produce a higher concentration of nutrients. So if we get a feeder cell out here, they'll start eating our stem cells, and then we'll be able to get him to expel his excess nutrients to feed a mineral extractor. So we want to wait till the feeder's actually alive. And there he is. He'll fly around, start eating our stem cells. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and set up a mineral production. He'll eat stem cells, and eventually he'll go over and start feeding into this. That's not the only thing, though, we can do with these little feeders. They produce so much excess calories that we can actually get them to do something that is self-sustaining. We could tell our feeders to start feeding our agave as well. So they'll produce excess calories that they'll feed to the agave. They'll produce more food pellets, and the more food pellets will produce more stem cells, so there's more food for our feeders. So we can go ahead and have our feeder cell start producing additional feeders, up to 3. And if we set up 3 of our micro agave to feed off of their excess calories, we'll be able to maintain growing stem cells while eating them. And we'll be able to feed our mineral plant as well. So here you can start seeing the system feeds itself, and it grows and it grows. And we just gather up more resources. We're growing stem cells to feed the feeder cells. Yes, and our feeder cells can then feed excess calories to the micro agave. Then the micro agave produces food pellets that feed the stem cells. And as the stem cells get fed, they split apart through mitosis, or meiosis, I guess. And there's even more food available for our feeder cells. We have right in this little ball here, a small, perfectly encapsulated little economy. And as you can see, that was essentially what our first goal was. So we could complete that task. And now you can see we have a small mineral production, a small protein production, and we have plasma production that's slowly growing over time. So, next we need to grow to 30 biomass. Biomass isn't actually a resource, it's just sort of a measurement of how large we've gotten our colony. To get this all the way up to 30, we're going to have to grow out quite a bit. And we also need to achieve plus 15 protein balance. So, if we want to update our protein income, we're going to need to find a lot more fertile soil that is in darkness. So we'll start making use of this, and we are going to have to start expanding outwards. So we will go ahead and drop a new vesicle hub to kind of start exploring in this direction, and a new vesicle hub over here to start exploring in that direction. Additionally, this vesicle hub will be in range to start gathering up this protein and what have you. In our starting area, though, you can also see we have these 2 structures. These are just sort of blank, like these are just a solid chunk of resource. It's too big for our vesicles to harvest, but it's not like a perpetual resource. So what we need is a creature able to burrow into those and get the main resources out. So we'll go ahead and build a grub burrow, and we'll produce grubs that'll start digging these resources out for our vesicles to gather up. Eventually, we'll recycle the grubs, because once these are dug out, we don't need this anymore. These aren't perpetual. They're just a quick infusion of resources for us. So good. That's all set. It's now time for us to start exploring just a bit further. Ooh, what are you? So we have another thing over here we could get a grub on, which will actually get us some DNA. Though we don't have anything that needs DNA yet. We don't need to rush that. We can also see there's quite a bit of sunlight over here. So that could be useful for trying to produce more agave, feed a bigger stem cells. But we've got some fertile soil down here. We want to see if that's in dark. No, that's in sunlight. So that's not going to be good for our protein production. Over here, things seem to be a lot more in darkness, though, so that might be the direction to go. Let's see, what else do we have? So we have some new items that aren't even in the tutorial, so I'm going to have to learn a bit with you. Plasma pod. Increase your plasma storage capacity. Oh. That seems good. Needs to grow next to a vesicle hub. All right, well, we can expand a vesicle hub. We can expand our plasma storage. We're at max, so that's fine. Does that mean, okay, so we have more protein storage and more mineral storage. Yeah, let's set a little bit of this. So this needs to be grown in sunlight. Do we have any sunlight in this cave, or is it all just on that? It looks like that's all on that. So we can set up a little bit of protein storage there. And what does mineral storage need? It requires a feeder cell nearby. All right, so we'll go ahead and just build a little bit of all of our storage stuff just so we can expand all that. What else do we have? A provision bud. This produces food rations that can feed stem cells as needed. Each provision bud can store 1 food ration. So this needs a direct link to a vesicle. Okay, so this allows us to produce food in areas that don't have light, as long as we have a vesicle hub. Right, so yeah, so if I was to build it here, yeah, that would be able to produce food. But it needs either a vesicle hub to feed it calories, or we could have it start consuming some of our plasma production to produce food. So that lets us get things going in the darkness. We have a grub, protein, minerals. We don't have any of the advanced structures unlocked, I suppose. All right. Well then, let's go ahead and try to grab some of our stem cells and send them down to where we have these food pellets. They can feed around here and reveal a bit more of what's going on in the darkness. Yeah, you can see, even with that expansion of our storage, we're already kind of building up to it. All right, so we've got some fertile soil here. So we'll go ahead and see if this is... Do we not actually have vision of this? Okay, that should be enough vision. Oh, okay. Yeah, so this is all in darkness, so we could build more protein production here. But we're gonna have a hard time actually producing food. So let's go ahead and get that provision bud. So we'll build a provision bud, and this will get us some food so we can maintain some of our stem cells out in the darkness here. What have we got? We got a protein thing, we got a mineral thing. Ooh, and we've got some actual ground minerals. So we could build... Oh, grub? Yeah, we got little grubs that dig shit up for us. How are our grubs doing? Yeah, they've gotten 1 mineral out and I think 2 protein out. So they do a slow job of digging shit. Ooh. A toxic fungal patch. Raw materials for the production of toxins. Wait, we can produce toxins? Huh. I think we don't want our little guys over there, because that sounds like that might be a dangerous thing, but... And we don't seem to know anything about producing with toxins yet. Maybe we need to harvest up DNA before we can unlock seeing that. Ooh, and over here you can see we have more fertile ground right in direct sunlight. So that would be a great location to set up another plant area to start growing more of our stem cells. So let's go ahead. Just kind of do a bit of a daisy chain of some of these cells so that we can get up here and start producing more plants to produce more stem cells to really expand our reach out there. Yeah, so this should be producing food pellets, right? Wait, creates 6 calories every 4 seconds while growing next to a vesicle. Generates 1 food ration from 75 calories. Oh, so it needs to like build up to 75 calories, then it'll spit out 1 food pellet. So it's very slow at producing food pellets, it seems. We're producing food, but it seems like we're having a hard time getting stem cells out here. Do you produce stem cells? No. So we'll have to drag some of our stem cells from in the main colony. Yeah, and I think once we get, with how much food is out here, I think our stem cells will be able to, oh yeah, they're going to eat a ton of food and they're going to start splitting very rapidly. So this should be a big explosion of biomass up here for us. Yeah, with all the agave we can spawn up here, we'll be able to get these boys multiplying like crazy. In fact, I just realized we've already gotten our protein balance above 15. And we have more than 30 biomass already, so hell yeah. Y'all are surviving, we're harvesting up this. We could expand to try to get into these minerals as well. We have the toxins over here. No, I'm actually gonna go ahead and delay ending our current mission just because we have a lot of access to stuff down here. And then what we can do... I want to set up a grub hub here. Start digging up both of these. And we'll want to get into this as well. And what we can actually do... I would like if we could get some feeder cells down here. Start eating stem cells and producing energy, because then we could send that energy into some plants. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to build our own resource chain, essentially. So essentially, we're gonna set up a feeder hub right here and get it producing maximum feeders, right? They're gonna start eating the stem cells. Then we can have them, like we turn off looking for light and fertility, and we have these guys just feed off of feeder cells. We could start making more agave in this direction to spit out food to attract our stem cells over and down here. So that we could start just sort of playing outside of the fertile soil sunlight way. And we could start just maintaining an ecosystem fully separated from all of that. I ran into another player thing. I had a flamethrower, I think. Oh god, in Kletka? God damn, they're really trying to scare you with fake players in that game, huh? Alright, I'm also going to turn on extra vesicles in a couple of these locations, because we have protein that's not actually being gathered. Oh, we dropped below 15 production. Oh, yeah, you guys consume protein, right? Okay. Alright, we got you guys digging things up. You got built, so we had just enough stem cells. We got minerals that we'd like to dig up, but honestly, I don't think we need to worry too much about getting stuff going on down here because there's so much stuff for grubs to get that we can delay trying to actually expand southward and just look up to this. Obviously, it'd be nice to get a grub digging this up as well. But I think we'll end our current mission and just see what they want us to do next. Because we're in a pretty stable position right now, you know? We've got stability going on. Alright. Plant an enzyme distillery to unlock advanced plants. Alright. So we've gotten access to our very first, like, advanced planter. And that is the enzymes distillery. So this makes enzymes, which lets us start getting into some more complicated and interesting plants. You need enzymes to make your warrior plants. You need enzymes to do basically anything that seems to relate to breaking things down to make a more specific use of them. But as you can see, this requires 40 protein, which we can't even store. So step one is actually going to be increasing our protein storage. So we're going to build a few more protein storage buildings over here. We'll get those up and running. And then we'll need to fill that up enough to start producing those enzymes. Not only does it take a lot of protein to build it, but I think enzyme production is very protein expensive as well. Wait, who's starving? You? Do we not have enough feeders? Okay, we'll try to produce more feeders then. And just to give ourselves a little bit of a spike, we're going to drop some free rations. Use one of our 5 uses, just to make sure all of this gets balanced out early. Alright, all of that seems to be going okay. How's our big sunlight area doing? Sunlight's doing pretty good. Can we plant more? We can plant more plants. Really expand our stem cells out here. This in sunlight? Yeah, this isn't enough sunlight. Cool. So, since this is where all our easy nutrients is, I think this is where we'll focus a lot of just our basic growth. Alright. I think they might be real, to be honest. Wait, I thought you were in offline mode, Sour. How are you encountering real people in offline mode? Ooh, are we still getting starvation? What's up? We've got 3 feeders here. How many feeders we got here? 3 there. That should be 1 to you, a few down here. Yeah, everything should be getting supplied well and easy out here. Grubs are digging. Protein is being harvested here. We're up there. I think we're good. Yeah! Alright. What do you need? Wait. So we need all of that, and they also need light. Okay. So they'll need to be produced in an area with plenty of sunlight. Oh, right here works then. Let's go ahead and move up our microbial tech tree. So yeah, no. I ended up just spotting this game at one point, and at first, like, the cover art seemed kind of goofy for me, but I decided because it was a free demo to check it out, and as I was getting into the tutorial, I was really getting into it. This, like, mini, like, food chain building system was so good to play around in. And not only that, but the way the tutorial did it, it was all of this, okay, we're now going to unlock a new tech for you. And the game ultimately felt a lot less like a, what am I thinking? It felt a lot less like, you know, just like a manager, builder, yada yada game. And a lot more like essentially a puzzle game. Where there'll be maps where you have a ton of harvestable resources, so you need to figure out how to build and maintain a lot of grubs. And once you get the grubs, you'll have the resources to start expanding into new areas. Like, you see how over here we have these agrave without any light coming into them? Like, there was a map where you started an area with no light or fertile soil, and you needed to explore to find an area that would get you enough starting resources to create feeders, to feed on your stem cells, to feed your agave, to produce food for your stem cells. And just sort of this series of little puzzles that I love. There's something about like that puzzle oriented building up your efficiency style of survival game that is my favorite. Like what I can immediately compare this to is in the Altars, which we're playing right now as well. There's like the, oh, if you run out of food, you'll start to starve. If you don't deal with radiation, people get radiation burn and die. And it's like this, you have a bunch of timers you're trying to maintain, and if you fuck up on one of the timers, you lose. This game isn't so much based on timers. There is some starvation mechanics that can happen, but like, now that I'm balanced here, if I just step away, ultimately things aren't going to fall apart, they'll just maintain themselves. But if I want to grow, I have to build the efficiency. I have to find the additional resources, then start building the system, and then I can start expanding on things, you know? And that's the way, yeah, that's my favorite way of doing progression systems, where it's like, you can build up to a point, then you can pause, take an examination, look for the efficiencies, and start exploiting them, is how I love it. Though I do understand why a lot of games more so go for the timer mechanic, and that's how they do their sort of build-up systems. All right, well, we have our enzyme builder up and running. We have enzymes available. I don't know if we actually have a count, so it says we have one enzyme, but all right. Yeah, explore, exploit, all that shit. Now, we need to achieve 18 biodiversity by cultivating various plants. So we currently only have 11 biodiversity in our colony, and we need to get up to 18. We also want to achieve 100 biomass and complexity. Now, complexity is something that I don't think the game had a tutorial for. Colony score. The sum of the neural processing power. Each connection between two neurons earns 1 complexity point. Additionally, bonus points are awarded for the longest continuous chain connecting between neurons. Yeah, the tutorial never had neurons get introduced, so I don't know what neurons are. Oh, and here's another good one. So this is the big thing. This is the big thing you get to unlock by getting enzymes. Berry grass. So we can now make a plant that will just produce berries. It costs us protein, it costs us enzymes, so it's expensive to get to this. But by producing berries, we can now tell, for example, our feeders, we can tell them, you're not allowed to hunt stem cells anymore. You only eat berries. So this is a great way that if we can get these berry plants up and running, we can now stop feeding on our own biomass to produce the feeder cells like higher efficiency, and can instead have them feed off of fruit. So for example, if we drop berry grass here, we'll start producing berries. So then what we can do is we can make a feeder cell right near the berries, and we can tell this feeder cell it's not allowed to eat our stem cells. Because there's no food pellet production we can easily do down here, stem cells are very valuable in this area, and we don't want to be eating them. So our feeder cells will only eat the berries. Like you can see the big problem, because we don't have a lot of stem cells down here, we can't even build this stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna grab 6 stem cells, bring them down to this area, and hopefully they'll be able to build everything. But once they're down here, they're pretty much going to die because we don't have any food production down here. So they'll end up dying off once they're here, but hopefully they can get the berries and the feeder built. Because once we have the berries and the feeder built, our feeders will be able to eat the berries. Then we can tell those feeders to start feeding plants. And then the plants will produce food pellets. Then we'll be able to maintain stem cells here. So we'll be able to do better efficient building, even though there's no light or fertile soil down here. So you can see how this game essentially gives you a series of puzzles and ways to circumvent different things. And that's just what's so cool about it. Is now that our main colony is able to produce enzymes, proteins, and minerals, we can now start creating a new environment down here that doesn't rely on any of that, but is able to make use of it. And like once our grubs dig up this, we'll have some exposure here. We'll be able to get a new mineral plant. And we'll greatly increase our mineral production. Ooh, what do we got? We got a bit of a protein problem. Shoot, we don't have enough protein production. Okay, we have fertile soil down here. Is this in light? Dang, this is in light. So we need to find a way to start producing even more protein. So we need fertile soil that is not in sunlight. All right, we got a lot right here. So we're gonna do that. We'll also expand out a hub. So we'll have a hub that's job is just to harvest up all this protein. All right, and that should, yeah, get us back above what we need for the protein production. Yep, then down here, they should be producing berries, which feed our feeders. Then we're just going to drop one little food plant here. Tell it not to worry about fertile soil or light, and we'll let our feeders work on that. And we should be able... are we still getting blocked by this? Shoot. Alright, so we'll send our grubs to dig this out of the way. Once that's out of the way, we'll be able to just put an actual mineral plant down here, and that should expand our mineral production. Cool. So all of that seems to be going good, so we need more complexity. What do we need stem cell for? Oh, to get the plant started even. Alright. Let's start pulling some more stem cells from in the main area. Well, let's just pull them to here first. We have a ton of food being produced, but none of our stem cells are actually hanging out there. So we're just going to get them here first and let this build up into a little stem cell colony because of the feeders here. And once that becomes self-sustaining, then we'll drag some more of them down, I think. But I think it's a good idea just to let them grow there. Alright, so that's all good. We've got a new plant coming in, which increases our complexity. So what do we want? Toxin Harvester. Hey! Alright. But to get Toxin Harvester, we need DNA. Okay. So this has DNA. We have some grubs digging up DNA here. So where's our vesicle? Is this our closest vesicle? Yeah, it's not in range of any of that. So let's go ahead. Do we have a good angle? We don't. So we're going to have to build one up here. Shoot, we're a little blocked from actually reaching too far. All right, now we can get one right there. And we'll let this vesicle go a little crazy, and that should start gathering up some of that DNA. It's your genetic sampler. Ooh. A healthy population shows genetic diversity, measured by polymorphism. This plant scans surrounding cells, plants, including foreign ones, polymorphism, and produces DNA in a calorie-intensive manner. So this uses minerals and fertile ground to produce DNA. We've got a lot to gather, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Oh, wait, a carnivorous protein factory. This large plant eats stem cells or amino berries and produces protein. So this is a way for us to boost protein by consuming stem cells. Interesting. So I'm gonna get another micro agave here now that we're like sustained. Yeah, so we have some stem cells hanging out because of this plant. So we'll get one more plant up and running just so we can maintain a few more stem cells in this area. A feeder. Well, we could drop that feeder. How close does it need to be? So we'll put a feeder plant like right here so that it reaches up into our food production plants. And that should give it easy access, right? Or can its arms go out? Because if this can grab berries, then that's really interesting. Okay, we're going to boost up the number of vesicles we have. We have a lot of protein plants, and we now have this plant out here as well. So we'll want to be able to gather up a lot more protein. Okay, and what do we have? An enzyme distillery. Ooh, but this is new. A neuron. Close-by neurons connect to form a network that can exchange and process information. This is how complexity is generated. The more connections and the longer the chain of connections, the higher the complexity. So let's build our first neuron? No connect. Wait. Do they need to connect to something specific? No connections. Oh, no, I can build it here. It's just letting me know that this doesn't have any connect. Well, it's our first neuron. Yeah, so let's build our first neuron. What else? We have a toxin harvester, which we kind of want to check out, because we have these toxins over here. I don't know what we do with them, though. Oh, the Lanchette Hive. All right, so these are our warrior units. The Lanchettes get to attack things. I think because this is an economic map, I don't think we'll actually have any enemies trying to kill our colony, but we can use these guys to, for example, clear out these wild agave, which do not produce like as much as we want and can block space. For example, we have wild agave right here, which are blocking fertile soil in the light, where we could have our micro agave producing more food. So we can go ahead. What else do you need? Why is it orange up here? No line of sight to a vesicle. Alright, so we need real access to a vesicle. So if we build these Lanchettes here, we'll be able to send them to clear cut these wild plants and replace them with actual cultivating plants. What do we have over here? Infrastructure. Stem cell sprouter slowly spawns stem cells, but needs protein and minerals to do so. Useful in places that are otherwise not easily accessed for stem cells. Hell yeah. Wait, it needs a benthos eater? Oh, so we would need, like, fertile ground. So if we had extra fertile soil somewhere, we could drop it on the fertile soil. Okay. Who's starving? You? You're starving. Wait, don't we have feeders? Yeah, we have feeders and berries. Do you guys need, like, an extra berry plant, maybe? Like, is that too many feeders? Well, I don't want to go too close to the minerals, because we really want those. For our future mineral plant we'll be able to shove in there. So yeah, we'll build it over on this side. Maybe 2 berry plants should be enough to sustain the 3 feeders. Because I think berry plants produce, yeah, 2 berries at once. So yeah, 2 berry plants should technically be able to sustain 4 feeders, so that should be fine here. Alright, so we've got a little bit of biodiversity going on, I think. Yeah, we're at 15 biodiversity. So there's 2 more biodiversity we could do. What's this? Luminiflora. Oh, shit! So this consumes the toxins we could be gathering to produce light. So we can now bring light as a resource into the darkness. Hell yeah. Alright, we're gathering up genetic material there. Oh, we also get 1 genetics for digging up these plants. Alright, yeah, so as we spawn Lanchettes, those will be able to clear all this out, produce excess resources. And then slowly we'll gather all that up. Alright, so we have our first neuron. So can we build another neuron? And finally see, like, how these... So we gain complexity Is complexity just like the goal we need, or do we actually get something from having complexity, I wonder? How are we doing? Yeah, so we're really wanting to clear this out so we can get a new mineral production plant, because right now we can put one up here. But right now we are close to getting to the stage where we just are not producing enough minerals per second. Right, our land chats are starting to clear that out. All that's doing well. Cool, cool, cool. I do want to try this thing out, though. We need fertile soil that I'm not really using. Are you getting back to starving? You really shouldn't be. Because we only have 2 plants down here that we're trying to get our feeders to feed on. We have 3 feeders. Tons of berries. You guys shouldn't be starving at any point, really. Oh, we're going negative on minerals. But we just built up a new one. Hmm. Yeah, luckily we have, I think, a lot of free-floating minerals, so our vesicles gathering that up, even though that's not a consistent production, should be able to keep us ahead on all that. Ooh, this is actually a good place for us to test out this new little guy, right? This consumes, ooh, but this is gonna consume minerals. I don't know how great that is. We'll go ahead and just drop one down to see how well it works, at the same time that we, set up even more plants. Zelix, is that you? Hello, hello, Zelix. Welcome, welcome to our little colony. We're doing a pretty slow, controlled expansion here, to be fair, but I'm still learning some of these. I'm encountering plants I've not encountered before. All right, we're up to our 2 complexity. It does not appear that complexity alone unlocks things, so yeah, that's probably fine. What are we at? We're at 16 biodiversity, so we at least need 2 more unique buildings. One that I'm really looking for is going to be the toxin gatherer? Yeah, this toxin harvester, which seems like it'll be a really interesting one. I've not played around with toxins, and what are they good for? The toxins we know are going to be able to make light plants for us, which will let us start bringing sunlight into places that don't have sunlight. We actually almost have the whole map explored. So I think I'm gonna go ahead then and start just sending out some stem cells to explore the outer edges of the map. Yeah, sorry, I know y'all are gonna die in the toxins, but I kind of want to see some more. Yeah, because this is as far as I can scroll, so if we can see this corner, we'll see, like, everything. And there's some food here, so these guys should be able to survive for a minute. Alright, there's a little bit more we could see down there, but it looks like that probably dead ends. Ooh, what do we got? So just raw DNA, like a big-ass DNA packet right there. And, oh, and just some floating DNA as well. Alright, so that's a big DNA boost we could get if we want to go get that. But yeah, Zelix, we are building our little tardigrade empire right now. Let's see here. Let's send some of y'all off to explore over here. Seeing DNA packets. Ooh, we got some minerals. How deep down do these crevices go? Not very deep, it seems. So we could set up a mineral plant over here if we get some feeders going. We do have a lot of boys we could be feeding on. wait, though. I need to expand my reach first. Yeah. Gonna do a hub. Then a feeder. Then after we get the feeder set up and eating, we'll be able to put in a new mineral mine right there. At the same time, I feel like we get to expand a bit more of our storage already. A little bit of protein storage. Could do another mineral storage. These will require feeders. So set one up right there. And then where could we shove some more plasma storage? Right there. That's good. Who's starving? The feeder? No, you got all these guys over here you could eat. What do you mean you're starving? Come on. Don't you lie to me. And there, that'll get us more minerals. And then you can gather up these abandoned resources we have all around. Cool. And that should take us up to the 20 DNA. Just picking up these little packets that are just left. Let's see. Let's pick an attraction. Let's grab these lanchettes. Bring them over here and try to expose a bit more DNA by killing these wild plants. Alright, we're at 19. One more DNA brought in. And we'll be able to do our toxin harvester. Come on, big boy. I see some minerals floating up here. We're gonna do some connections so we can actually try to explore this last little packet of mystery. Oh, look at all this fertile soil in here. Interesting. All right, we have a toxin harvester. So this needs toxic fungals, and we need to make sure we have enzymes. We do have enzymes. Ooh, we got our little guys exploring up here. So there's some more minerals we could get. And I want to send... Oh, wait, no, that's lanchettes. I'm going to send some boys over here and see if they can't see what this little pipe of terrain is. Oh, dang, that goes. Oh. I'm gonna use one of my, Oh, I can't do a food scale, damn. Alright, we'll get you guys in here, let you eat. Okay, there was a lot more space in here than I thought. Floating DNA. Now, keep going north. Get into this food pack. There's like fertile soil, sunlight, food, and DNA in there. That is crazy. Alright, how are we doing on biodiversity? We are at 18, so we need one more unique plant. So we could do... Lumia Flora. Expand where sunlight reaches to. We don't really need it, obviously, but, you know. No reason not to build it. Also, oh, we're only at 79 biodiversity. I really thought it would be much bigger at this point. We have a lot of food and stuff being produced. Obviously, that means we need to expand it to more locations, don't it? Oh, yeah, can we recycle these grubs? Yeah, we can recycle these grubs. I think that'll even reduce our biodiversity, unfortunately, but, you know, there's no reason to maintain the grubs there at that point. I think these grubs as well we could recycle. Do we have at least one grub? Yeah, as long as we have one grub somewhere, we're not losing out on the biodiversity. No, I don't want to take out the land shit. Stop that. There we go. So what do I want to get into? Well, we have this big DNA block we could take out. That'd be a very temporary structure, but it's something we could look at doing. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and try to set up a bit of a... what? DNA colony, I guess. So we'll build you here. You'll start gathering up this. We'll need grubs to dig that. And what do grubs need? Oh, they don't even need, like, any real maintenance stuff. Yeah, so we just need to wait for that hub to be built. Ah, I see. We'll have to drag some stem cells down. That should be good. We don't actually need any production stuff over here, so just one vesicle and one grub hub should be enough to be harvesting up all the genetic material. Doesn't mean I want to build this before all these boys decide to die. Stem cells, work. Good. Alright, that's all established. That's all good. Hell yeah. Taking that. We're doing all this. We've got toxins being harvested. We could do some mineral harvesting here. We could expand up to get the genetics over there, but I don't know. Is there anything you guys would like to see us expand into? Any of these areas you really want to do a little bit of building in? I feel like we're pretty well established, and, you know, we're trying to build up complexity and biomass and what have you. So maybe that's really what I should be doing, is trying to go for our complexity and finding out what the actual, like, resource limiter we're going to start hitting on these neurons is. Space is already looking to be a bit of one. Yeah, these boys have a bit of limited space stuff going on. Hey, Ultima! The void must be touched. Well, we're kind of reaching into... Like, you want us to get up into this area? I guess we could. We'd have to drag some of our lanchettes out there. So do we think of this as the void? Alright, you know what? Let's do something I haven't really done. So one thing I haven't done is try to expand stem cell production, really. Because we have this building. Where is it? Yeah, so we have this stem cell sprouter. We can drop down there. Then we need this stuff to get food, right? So we'd want... Oh, hi there! You're a bit of a honkin' machine, aren't ya? So, how far does your light go? Like, is it just covered in that area? So if I can't put it in here, we can't get sunlight? So we could expand sunlight to... Oh, wait. No. Nope. Stop that. So we gotta build, like, here, and that should expand sunlight to those two patches, and we can look at putting some agave there. Alright, well, we're gonna need to drag stem cells out there, then. We'll see what we can do. Oh, damn, did we get 2 bots, Ultima, back to back? Holy shit. Alright, my little stem cells. Into the void, as requested. found a little food, so one of them will hang out here. And they'll build this stem cell producer. But then I think there's like no light in here. Yeah? Okay, so there's no light. And this bioluminescent guy, we'll actually see what he does. Because I have a theory he only spreads lights to, like, this outline, essentially. If so, we'll never be able to put light in here. So really, we only want to use this, I guess, for protein production. Because that's a lot of space to do protein buildings, but we can't do easy agave down there. Is there anything else that wants fertile soil, but no light? The genetic sampler wants fertile soil. Yeah, that's not fitting in there. Yeah, no, the only thing that I think wants fertile soil and doesn't want light are these protein dudes. Damn, this guy growing. See how big he get. Let's see here. 7 complexity. From neurons and longest chain bonus. I'm a little sad. I'm a little sad we don't seem to do anything with complexity. It would be really nice if complexity did something, even if it was like one of those boring like math bonuses, you know? Or it's like, ooh, your complexity is this, you gain yada yada, like, efficiency bonus. So where do we just have space? I guess we just have space here, right? So did all of this get access to light? Not here, but here. Huh, interesting. So you're going to be producing stem cells from this, but they don't really have a lot of food sources over here. Still, it allows us to build. And since there's no light, really the only thing we want is a couple of protein producers. Oh, is there light there? Hold on. No. Wait, then why didn't you want to... Oh, it has no line of sight to the vesicle. Okay. I don't know if you explained before, but what is light needed for? So, for example, these agave, they need light in order to grow. Protein pods need light in order to grow. Basically, there's just a few of our plants that require light for photosynthesis, so if they don't have access to light, they can't grow. Oh, wait, so this doesn't have light. So we could put the stem cell sprouter on that bit of fertile soil near these plants producing food for the stem cells. Okay, we got a bit of an angle we can take. Oh, that's not reachable by those grubs? What? Damn. And how are we doing on complexity? We're at 20 complexity. All right. Oh, I'm out of DNA. Right, we don't have an actual building that produces DNA, right? We are, like, harvesting it, though that's almost out, even. Let's see here, what else? We also have this big chunk we could do, but I think it's time for us to start looking at building this baby. So for this, we're gonna need 100... Oh, we need 100 biomass. All right, so we need to get massive. What does this need? So this needs, in order to work, upkeep as minerals or fertile ground. So if I get rid of a couple of these plants, looks like maybe 3 of these agave, we might be able to put the genetic sampler in here. And it wants to be near a lot of plants, right? So I think right about here is going to encompass a lot of things. So let's go ahead. Take out these 3. Now we do have pretty solid mineral production, you know? Ooh, we might need to take out... Yeah, we'll need to take out at least 3 more. Let's go ahead and preset. So it could be a thing where we're better off doing like a mineral destruction, you know? Or mineral as maintenance over fertile ground. But I'm fine to try it out with the fertile ground right here. See how well that works. Okay, so we need to really boost up our biomass to just get a ton of plants going. Do neurons count towards biomass? Because we have to build a lot of neurons anyway. Yeah, neurons do count towards biomass, but it seems like very little. At 18 neurons, we're only getting +5 biomass. Who's getting us the most biomass for the least amount of things? 36 micro agave, giving us 11. 7 protein pods, giving us 3. One lanchette hive with 4 lanchettes is giving us 2? Nothing seems super uniquely efficient for producing biomass, so we'll just go ahead and keep expanding our neuron network. And just see what that can do for... Right, don't have enough Right, I don't have enough DNA. But we need to get up to 100 biomass before we can start just producing DNA. So let's go ahead and get up here, get up into this, and start harvesting all that. Yeah, that seems the most reasonable. Okay, so what kind of reach do you have? You don't actually quite reach it, so we'll need to get at least 1 more hub in. Okay, we'll get this chain of hubs. I'll need to guide, actually, my stem cells to it, though. Oh, that's the repulsive. Alright. So we'll need... Okay, this is this in sunlight? Because if this is in sunlight, it is. This is what we'll do. Put a few plants there. We'll get the 1 stem cell producer building. Shoot, I need genetic material for that. We only need 1, but we do need genetic material. Where can we quickly get some genetic material? Ah, I know what we can do. So we'll go ahead, grab our lanchettes. And we'll have them go harvest up some shit. We'll get that genetic material, and that'll let us start producing stem cells up in here. Oh, actually, this vesicle is already going to grab a few. But that's good. We also need a grub hub to start grubbing away at this. We don't really have the space, though, so we'll have to bring our lanchettes actually into here. Clear-cut these plants in order to get enough space to build our grubs and start breaking down whatever this mush is. Alright, let's go. Alright, we have a little bit of DNA. So we'll start producing stem cells. They'll eat the food, produce these plants, which will produce more stem cells, which will let all this run. Alright, lanchettes. Need to get you up into this last location and let you clear cut all of this to give us more building space. That should get us basically all the DNA. Then we have to be careful though, because we don't have any DNA production buildings yet, and we need the biomass for that. So hopefully we'll be able to produce stem cells and a lot of plants to just grow our biomass through stem cell production. You can also just produce a few more, like, storage units. Alright, Lanchies, how you doing? Alright, our Lanchettes seem to have killed off most of everything that is up there, so back to grabbing stem cells. As long as our stem cells get the stem cell production building online, up here should be fine. And just to make sure they don't die on the way, I'm going to use, like, all of our food production abilities. We'll leave one. Just have some rations along the path so that they can eat it and not starve on the journey. Yeah, you see they flow through it, they eat. They're getting smaller and smaller, but they're going to go through a new patch here. So yeah, that one ate a little bit. Now they're going to get up, and I just need you guys to build this. This is our #1 main building. Yeah! Alright, we're going to start producing stem cells. We have a few agave producing food. So we can get a grub burrow online as well. That should start producing the DNA. And then all the rest of this space we can just use for agave to produce more food for our stem cells. Beautiful. All right, we have 18, so we can expand our neural network again. Shoot. That'll be all the genetics we can do. What's up with you? No, we have plenty of plasma. What are you talking about? Alright, so how are we doing? We are still not really increasing to 100. I really need to find a better way to produce more biomass. I hope the feeding frenzy zone over here will do a good chunk of that for us, though. You know what? I've got an idea. Start producing berries and use those berries to feed more feeders. Yeah, we'll let them eat whatever they want and just produce as many over there as possible. Starvation? Who's starving? You? Oh, do we not have, like, a hub? Okay. We'll work to get a hub online then. Keep expanding our complexity. Y'all connect, right? Yeah, good. So we have this little packet that we can't really connect very easily because of how tight this space gets, but... Wait, maybe... Because if we have an alternate series of connections... Maybe we could destroy this and try to feed the neurons. Nah, the neurons won't fit into that space. Hey, son, how you doing? Welcome, welcome to our little micro environment we've been building. How's your fucking weekend going, my guy? Alright. All of this seems to be going pretty okay. Biomass be biomassing. Oh, can we do a new mineral plant? No, there's just not the space we would need. We could set one up over here. We need to get feeders online over here. So what we do... berry plant. A feeder. And this one will say can't hunt stem cells. And once those are up, we could get another mineral extractor online. Kind of in this mess. Should I just build it now, or should I wait till the feeder is online? Honestly, with how rare it is to get stem cells to visit this area, I think I'll just have it build early. I think it'll be in a starvation state until the feeders actually start working, but... just annoying to remember to drag the stem cells around, you know? Look at them! Look at all of them feeding! Yummy! Well, let's hear it. The DNA building didn't need DNA, did it? Yeah, it doesn't need DNA. It just needs us to reach 100. We're actually really close to 100 biomass. And as soon as we can do that, we have a permanent income of DNA, so we'll be able to keep expanding our neural network. Hey, did we get it? Alright, let's see what the DNA building looks like. Doing good, you? Oh, I'm having a pretty chill day, enjoying myself. Working with Richard on and off to try to get our thumbnail set up for our big Metal Gear lore day tomorrow. Hopefully that'll all go real nice, but we will see. Fuck yeah. Alright, this is starving. We should have feeders. Okay, yeah, no, now it's doing okay. Cool. We got good production, everything. Minerals aren't great, but they are ultimately fine. So we need to get to 200 complexity? Lord, is there actually space enough to do that? Well, I can recycle these grubs now, right? Yeah, they already ate the DNA thing over here, so we'll get rid of these grubs. Let's forget where the neurons are. If we get here, this should be a narrow enough gap that we can, like, connect over here and get a little bit on both sides, but I don't know. I feel like we're gonna run into a serious problem with our neuron expansion if we need to get 200 complexity. I'm more concerned just about physical space than anything else. Oh, damn, we're producing a lot of DNA. Like 5? All right. Hell yeah! Ooh, lore day. Yeah, we've got a few drinking rules that we're going to be going over, and Rich is going to try to explain to me how Metal Gear works. And as things get out of hand, we're going to be getting out of hand. Come on, give me one more. We'll have a double connection here. Ooh. Ooh, are we actually having a problem maintaining plasma? Well, I guess these neurons do consume a ton of plasma. So, let's see here. What can we do? Step one, we can recycle this. And build more agave, which will feed these stem cells, producing more stem cells, producing more plasma. But yeah, we're starting to run into an issue of a lot of our plasma being consumed by these Yeah, the neurons are up to 132 plasma consumption. All right. We are in a bit of a balancing. Yeah, maintaining all these neurons is going to get expensive as shit. We have to do what, 250 or 200 biomass to get all 3 stars? 200 complexity. All right. We'll think. We'll think on how best to do that. Maybe space isn't the biggest problem here. We'll set up a few more of the... All right, well, we spiked up a little bit, so there's definitely a lot of food production we're able to do. And oh! We not, like... Hey, those stem cells. Hey, you guys wanna... move on over? Now, I'm ready to... The main thing I would love to do is move around more of these stem cell producers and put them where we have food, because obviously, if we're not producing stem cells, we're producing food, we're essentially wasting that food. So here's what we can do. So we can take out one of these protein producers, replace that with one stem cell producer, and those guys will eat all of this food and should grow a little colony. I've dragged a few over here, and they should be able to maintain themselves, but they might end up drifting back. So if plasma is a big thing, then what we need to look into is getting food production set up near fertile soil, or we can also set up stem cell producers, like kind of how we made use of this area. We only need one stem cell producer, and then they'll multiply on their own. We could also look into more ways to produce food, right? Because there is the provisioner bud. Though that consumes plasma, so that's probably like a bad efficient... That's probably more about maintaining builders where you need builders and actually trying to grow your biomass. Because if that's consuming our plasma, then that's not helping us really grow out our complexity efficiently. Alright, these feeders, how many feeders do we have? We have like 6 feeders. We only have 1 mining contraption over here. So if we make sure multiple feeders... Oh, we can only maintain though, like... Oh, but they're allowed to eat the stem cells here. And the fruit. So we got fruit and stem cells. So yeah, we should be able to maintain a lot of these agave getting excess calories from the symbiotic feeders. Maybe that'll produce more food, which will produce more of these guys. So they'll do more plasma, more biomass. Hopefully that all will work then. Alright. I'm gonna get rid of just this one. Oop. Because I just need a little bit of space. Get a very, very high efficiency. Yeah, that's 4 connections from 1 neuron. That's going to be a really strong neuron cluster then. So we want to find spaces that are like this, where we have like a tight, narrow thing that we can get multiple connections built off of. like that guy. That. Oh. Length is also important. But. Oh. Like, that should be a really strong cluster, right? 132. Damn, we're not even at 150 yet. Not reachable. Interestingly, yeah, so we can't like try to connect them down into there, unfortunately. So, I don't know. Is there any more like high density connections we could do here? Ooh, that's... Come on, there was a 4. Hey, there's a really good efficiency one right there. So it's consuming a lot of my minerals. Well, we just don't have a ton of extractors actually built. And we got at least 2 feeders being easily maintained here, so we can get 2 mineral miners right there. Can we get a good neuron connection here? Like a 2 connection? Like 1 above, 1 to the side? No. Yeah, even that is too fucking high up. Like, this might be another good alleyway for us to build neuron connections in, since we can put them on both sides of the wall. Yeah, so that's just probably what we gotta do. We just gotta hunt for these tight areas where we can cluster them efficiently. Come on, give me the minerals. We have plus 6.4. We should be producing minerals. There we go. And I wonder, once all that's good, what our complexity will get up to. Ooh. Ah. Oh my god. Y'all, I fucked up my, like, lunch today. I sat down and started following a recipe to make, like, just some country gravy. I just want to do, like, biscuits, gravy, and a bit of sausage. But I wasn't really sure. All the gravy recipes, I know gravy usually has meat in it, and all the gravy recipes I was finding were just talking about how to do like just the raw gravy. So what I ended up doing is, since I was buying like a big thing of sausages, like breakfast sausages to cook, I took half the breakfast sausages, tossed them in a pan, and just sort of broke them up into like ground pork essentially by hand. And then I did the gravy mix in with it, and I followed the gravy mix recipe, but I fucked up because the gravy recipe didn't assume meat, and I just added meat into it, and I was using pre-made sausages. The recipe for the actual gravy had me add salt, and I could tell after the first bite that by using like pre-made sausages, I shouldn't have added salt. It was so fucking salty. It was immediately like, oh god damn it. Because like if it wasn't for the salt, I think it would have been great. Oh, so hello Blackpoint Diolf, welcome. Have you changed your name recently? Because I do not recognize it. But today we are playing Primordial Empire. This is a demo of a bit of a micro colony builder game. We're kind of rolling into the late game of our current run, to be fair. But the goal of this game is to essentially build your own little ecosystem. We are this little hive center right here. And over time, we have planted things. We produce these stem cells. Stem cells get used to build more things, like these feeder cells, which eat our stem cells to produce new biological materials to build more complex plants. These plants will dig up minerals, and we can use those minerals to build even more complex plants. And right now, all we're trying to do is reach 200 complexity by building out these neuron networks. The more dense packed and the more long of a chain of neurons we can build, the more complexity we get. We need to get to 200 complexity and 200 total biomass. I used to be Slime Lord. Hey, I feel like it's been a hot minute since I've seen you. How you been, though, Black Point? How was your weekend going, my dude? Yeah, so I made the biscuits and gravy, and the gravy ended up just aggressively too salty. Like, I think if I had done it without following, like, the recipe exactly, like, if I had the wherewithal to be like, I'm adding in pre-made sausage that's gonna have salt in it, if I just don't add any salt, I think it would have come out great. But unfortunately, it was too salty. I'm still probably gonna eat it, you know, not gonna let it go to waste or nothing, but, oh boy. Oh, are you? Is our genetic sampler... Oh, have you sampled everything? Because this was like at a 7 production at one point, right? Creates 1 DNA from 5 collected polymorphosis and 100 calories. Yeah, I remember our genetic production being a lot higher earlier, but it doesn't look like anything's consuming it. I mean, we could set up another one of those guys, right? We should have, like, more than enough resources to maintain one more. I mean, they mostly consume... Well, if I'm not putting it on fertile soil, it'll consume 2 mineral. We should have enough mineral. So you won't be able to do fertile soil. Sure, we'll drop them here and say you don't use fertile soil, you just use mineral. And we'll get at least a second one of these to up our DNA production. I hurt my shoulder at work today. Oh no! I'm sorry to hear that, my dude. Like, really bad or just sort of an obnoxious, like, tweaking of it? Because there's really bad things I know you can do to your shoulder. And then there are things that are just like, ah, damn. Just gonna have to let it deal with itself. To be fair, we're at 165 complexity, but not 150 biomass yet. I still don't know, like, the most efficient way for me to be doing biomass growth. I think, honestly, like, the protein pods don't consume anything except sunlight. They seem to produce, like, 2 per. So, you know, we could just shove a few of them over there. A few of them over there and just give myself a little bit of a boost. What else? Well, we could do some more a plasma storage building. We'll do a mineral one, but I think the mineral ones actually consume minerals. They're like the least efficient one for us to do. If it's anything like my left, I think it's arthritis. Ooh! Cells needed. Oh, we should have our stem cells over there. Alright, that looks good. Biomass growing a little bit. We're getting a bit more DNA. Yeah, look. So this is now producing, like, a lot. So these just get worse at it over time. Yeah, I guess that could just be it. Like, maybe they just, over time, the plants around them produced less DNA for them to harvest physically. Okay. Well, we don't need infinite DNA, ultimately, right? We just need to get to 200 neuron connection. So as long as we can outproduce until the time that we get to that, we're doing more than enough. Yeah, and I think this narrow corridor was the best place for us to do. Like, we're not going to get super length, but we will get really good density. Currently at 165. Does these build up? Were we already at 165? Like, do these take longer to build than I thought? So we're at 170 now. $174. Yeah, so it just takes a minute for that to update. 180. Oh, we are getting close to our 200 marker. Alright, that should be at least 5 more complexity. So we'll need like another couple of really good connections. But once we do that, then all we have to worry about is trying to blow up our biomass. Don't know the best way to blow up biomass still, you know? Ooh, we might be... Yeah, I think it gets too narrow right there. Shoot, that might be the best we can do in this little cluster. We could try to build up our length a bit more. Right, because we have this long chain, don't we? Longest connection is 20. Now we're getting... Longest chain is 33. Wait. $29? We're at 190. If we could just make the connection longer over here, that might give us some room. Ooh, we could slot a double connection on this long chain. We'll let that rest and see how that does. We're at 190 here. It's still not even 150 on biomass. Alright, alright. I think we're gonna go... I've got a theory for what we could do for biomass. We're just gonna mass produce feeders that have full permissions to feed on everything. Now that's gonna like cut down our micro agave, but I just did a shift click, so all micro agave should now be allowing symbiotes to feed to them. So what our guys will do, they'll eat some of our cells, reducing our biomass, but then they should deliver that to these plants. And our plants should just, like, spike up in efficiency, I think. So let's do... So anywhere that we have a lot of critters, we're going to try to shove a lot of feeders as well. And I think if we can feed on where we're spawning, everything should pop off. Wait, do we actually have a spawner over here, though? Yeah, I don't think we actually have a stem cell spawner. We're actually gonna recycle one more of these here. Shove out a stem cell spawner over here. Just try to fully maintain all of this. We seem to be okay on our protein production, so I think losing one building won't do us in. Alright, and well, ooh, so we're starting to have a bit of a plasma problem. Alright, we seem to have recovered. So I think this feeder system should balance out, but we might be at a problem where we're eating them just fast enough and not yet benefiting from the excess food. Oh, wait. Oh, these ones haven't been allowed to feed on the stem cells yet. We'll allow them to start feeding on the stem cells over here. That should allow them to start feeding into the plants. We'll see what that does for our biomass, if that allows it to blow up at all. Alright, what can we do for our neural connections? Anywhere I can sneak in additional connections to already existing pathways. We can do it here. That gets us a double connection. Not a huge bit of growth, but at least a little bit. Can't really slot down into there. That's too tight. If I guide some of the lanchettes over, we can get a little bit more space. Yeah, we'll see if we can get them to clear a little more space for me to connect a few more neurons through here. Ooh, our plasma is going down again. And it spikes back up. Yeah, so I think the feeding cycle is keeping us above positive, but it's causing these massive swings in both directions. Like, the feeders will eat a whole bunch of our stem cells. Our plasma production goes down, but then they, like, give that over to the plants, and then it spikes right back up. Are we having a protein production problem? Okay, let's work to make sure we're keeping up with our protein needs. It's now protein, yeah, is going down a little bit from our major attempts at growth. And fuck! Our complexity! It's so close! It refuses to just lean over, just like a couple. Lord. Okay, wait, we did get those cleaned out. We can at least put one more connection over there. Wait, can we get an angle? We can get an angle to connect all these neurons together. I think those two, will do enough to get us over the 200 marker. And we will be the most complex thing underwater forever and always. Then we just gotta get above 200. 200 biomass. So maybe the genetic sampler is expensive, so no, one genetic sampler to one biomass. God damn. Okay. Understood, I guess. Shit. The biomass is pretty tricky to build up in serious amounts. How do we get biomass to explode? 1 plasma pod. No, +1 from plasma pod, but we have 4 plasma pods. Alright, alright, alright. The berry grass is a 1-to-1. No, it's 5-to-1, so that's probably 2-to-1. Feeder hub is 13-to-13, so feeder hubs are good for trying to explode our biomass, essentially. So feeder hubs are 1-to-1. They do feed on some of our bio. Oh, wait, but we can slap... Yeah, we could slap one right in here. So what, we've got a stem cell sprouter. We get a feeder. Those 3 plants. So if we get 2 feeders, we could support 6 plants. That should be a lot of biodiversity we should be able to maintain. And maybe we can throw in 1 berry grass just to, like, help everything work more efficiently over there. And maybe everywhere I have feeders, I just throw in a berry grass just to, like, help everything roll around. Because if they've got the berry grass that they can feed on, that should reduce the amount of the stem cells they're eating. Which reduces the amount they're eating into our biomass. Who's starving? Y'all? Nobody got feeders? Feeders just need to come down here where these stem cells be chilling. And A, complexity is officially past 200. Alright, so yeah, we just need to explode our biomass. We need to get biomassive out here. Let's see, so if all of my grass is currently able to be fed, but are you not? You don't have a dedicated feeder, so they're probably hitting up, like, all of these. So what? I slap in a new feeder? Oh, wait. Our feeders go crazy on our protein, though. Okay, so if we want to do that, we need to focus on exploding our protein production. Okay, so we could do a little more protein production, then we'll probably need multiple vesicles down here, harvesting it up. Who's dying? Oh, shit! Those agave actually fully died. Right, can we get at least 1 agave to survive down here? We do have a lot of feeders, and we got berries. Maybe it just took too long for these berries to get up and running. Ooh, that might have caused some serious plasma problems. Yeah, this stuff over here dying. Berries, what do you eat? Okay, they're currently not eating the plasma. They're eating the protein. So as long as I leave them on that setting, we can do quite a few of these in places then. Probably can't, like, slip one into this mess, though. But since it's good for efficiency, I think we can give up 1 grass. Put in 1 berry. Just keep looking for the little ways we can add more efficiency in. More efficiency. Bring some of the stem cells over, because we do have a ton of food over here, but we do have feeders as well. So our stem cells are behind our feeders on production in certain areas. Yeah, immediately those guys came through and ate a bunch of them. But as they're getting into the food, they should start multiplying. And as long as their production gets ahead of their production, I'll start feeding the grass, which should even more explode the food amount. Yeah, we're just biomaxing. Exactly, Ultima. It's just time to biomax. To get up to 200, we just have to biomax. Plasma needs more stem cells. Yeah, so I think stem cells is the core of trying to build up our biomass. These guys should be blowing up in number down here as they catch up on that. Do I have anywhere then I'm seeing like excess food not being eaten? Right here. Alright, I think I know what to do then. So we have all this food over here that's not being eaten. Ah, not the feeder. So we're actually going to take out these 3 plants. We're going to move them over, you see? They were able to be sustained. They had food, but our guys were spawning out and not making it over here. So we'll just move them closer to where the spawning is. And hopefully that'll allow for easier growth. So we're going to look around the map. Anywhere where food is not being eaten. Out here, it's being eaten in droves. That's going okay. This is where I just deleted them, so that's going to take a second. This is now being fed. Ooh, you are not... You don't have a dedicated feeder anymore. So we'll slap in a new feeder. So we have a spawner here. We have 2 agave. Because that's a bit of a closed up cycle. Use some fruit to feed those guys, then they can deliver to that plant, which will produce more food. Alright, how are we looking? 139. So we've definitely blown up from our 125 earlier, but we haven't even hit 150, unfortunately. Who's starving? You're starving. How are you starving? Got a feeder right here. And there we go. Alright, new plan though. Now I start making some of these feeders disallowed from eating our stem cell. Lost spawn. And we start building out, I think, more berry grass. Because our berry grass, we maintain berry grass through the use of the enzyme which we have and protein. So as long as we're ahead on protein, we can insert more berry grass to feed the feeders. We could start disallowing the feeders from eating the cells, so the cells just multiply without being fed upon to the maximum their food can produce. Now that we have kind of things getting set up, essentially, we start looking for those little tiny efficiencies. Alright, so you guys, you have how many berries? You got 1, 2 berries, 3, 4 berries. Alright, so we can disallow this one from eating stem cells. You guys can sustain yourself on berries, so just sustain yourself on berries. So here you've got 3 of you guys. You've got some berries here, some berries over there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 units can eat just berries. Who's starving? You're not starving. Don't lie to me. We could tell you guys to stop doing that. You've got berries here. Maybe you need another berry, though. That'll be 4 berries for 3 of you guys. That's more than enough. Alright. Now, I need to, like, get a little bit under control, because obviously our protein now is drifted a little low. How are we doing? We've got... You two seem to be keeping up with all this protein production, so I think we're at our maximum current level of protein. We could slap in more of these carnivorous plants. Interesting. Or we could start allowing some of these berries to use our plasma. We're not building any more neurons, so we're not going to get surprised by more plasma consumption. We'll see. We'll definitely see. How are we doing? We're at 140, so we're so far away from 200 biomass. God damn. Alright. Alright. What else can we do to start maxing out more biomass? Shit. I think we're using our space pretty okay, right? Lord, up to 200 biomass. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and allow this one to start using plasma. Wait, if I let them use plasma and protein, maybe they go more efficient? Alright, let's start finding... Well, let's just let all of our berries use both. We'll see. So that ate up about 30 of our 60. So that was a big chunk of our plasma production gone. But that should save a bit of our protein production. Okay. Now let's go ahead and watch this for a second. See... Yeah, berry grass is eating like 40 now. Oh, geez. Wait, what's happening? Okay, we cannot let all of our berry grass do that, or we just need to find a way to make that produce even more stem cells. Yeah, I think we just need even more plentiful of food. So all of our grass is allowed to let the feeders feed them. Not all of our feeders. We don't have enough feeders to hit everything. Ooh, dang. You know, we're getting into a bit of the math problem now. Okay, yeah, we're gonna turn off them using our fucking... Yeah, sorry, berry grass, you're not allowed to use our plasma anymore. You guys eat the hell out of that. Which is partially understandable, but sorry, we need to maintain some growth on that. Alright. So... We do have this. We could just tear it apart for some stuff, but I don't... Well, it'll give us space. So maybe we turn this space into another feeding zone. So let's get our grub. Yeah, we'll build some grubs, have them tear this apart. Once we have the space, we can turn this into another, like, feeding zone, I guess. Like, we won't have, though, a stem cell... Yeah, we won't have a stem cell producer in here because there's no fertile soil. But still, we can have some shit putting out food. And if we just... No, we need feeders in here, though, in order to feed the grass since there won't be fertile soil. still, we'll get some grubs. We'll have them tear this apart. We'll use the resources, but I gotta figure out a way to really save up. Alright, I think I see something we can do, though. So, if we can get more of these plasma pods, which increases our plasma storage, that'll allow us to build up a greater, like, reserve of plasma. Then we can do, like, essentially blooms, you know? Where occasionally we tell our fruit it can use the plasma to produce more. So, but we don't just leave it on permanently, you know? So we can just have big plasma blooms, essentially, where our fruit now stops eating up a lot of our protein. We get a ton of free berries. Okay. So what happens? Where do we have feeders that we don't have berries? Like, we don't have enough berries here, but we have berries. Do we have feeders anywhere we don't have berries? Like, not enough berries is easily solved. No berries isn't, though. That's solid. So wait, I have a ton of feeders over here. We have, what, 3 feeders? We've got 2 mines. Is there anything else in your guys' range? Let's rid of that microagave. No, but I could build another one, right? Because if you're feeding those... You guys, we have 3. You're feeding these 2 plants, but no mines over here. So I could slot in 1 or 2 extra microagave. Ooh, okay. And then we've got stem cells floating around over here. You're not allowed to eat our stem cells. You're not allowed to eat our stem cells. We're not seeing any starvation in this zone, so we could, if we get enough food produced in here, our stem cells could explode out of here. So yeah, we'll do that. You're very close, and you're also not allowed to eat our stem cells. Alright. And what are you feeding? You're feeding some of this agave. Are you guys eating stem cells? None of you are eating stem cells. All of this is being fed. So maybe we can try slotting in more microagave. Since we have fertile soil in here, if we can maintain this, we could put a stem cell spawner into this. You see that slot right there? This will start producing stem cells. Then if these microagave are able to be maintained by these feeders who aren't eating our stem cells, we should get a bloom of stem cells coming out. Also, if I don't need these grubs anymore, we could take this out and that produces more space for us. But I don't know what to feed this space with. Feeders, berries? I don't know. But I think it's time for us to do a bit of a bloom on all of our berries. Allow them to start eating up our plasma. Well, it looks like we can put a couple of... We'll put 1 in, and then we'll let all this grow. We'll see if there's any starvations. And how have you been, Velky? How's your weekend going? Welcome, welcome. We are checking out Primordial Empire. We are trying to build a hyper-dense ecosystem right now, and I am desperately searching for every little bit of efficiency I can get. Alright, I'm gonna disallow 1 of these groups. We have a few berries here. We're gonna disallow 2 of our feeders from eating our stem cells anymore. No, let's disallow all of them and see if starvation happens, because if starvation doesn't happen... Like, I think I'll want 1 more berry plant out in this area. Oof, we might not be able to slot any more berries out in this area. Wait. Nah. We'll see. We'll see if this all works. Plasma's maintaining, even though we let all of our berries start using our plasma. Y'all already disallowed. You know, everything down here was disallowed from eating them. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to. You're still allowed to, so let's flick that off. Wait, you're not getting sunlight? All right. Yeah. You're supposed to be getting a feeder. Who's starving? You, which means we don't have enough feeders down here. We've got 2 berry plants, 1 feeder. Yeah, so we could fit in... Alright, that should be enough to allow a bit of this to explode. We're at 150 on biomass. We hit it, but we didn't maintain above it. Hey, Queenie! Welcome, welcome! You want to see our little fucking colony of critters? Welcome to the Primordial Empire led by me, Eric the Tardigrade. As you can see, we are the most intelligent thing to ever exist with 204 IQ points by all these great neuron connections we've built. And right now, we're trying to get big. We're trying to get large. We need to get to 200 biomass. So we are looking for every little bit of efficiency we can. We are building berry plants to feed our feeders, to feed our agave grass, to feed our stem cells. And hoping to cause a massive stem cell bloom to take advantage of all this craziness we're getting up to. Let's do a quick pan around. Is there anywhere where food is building up and not getting eaten? Doesn't look like it. Do we have anywhere where berries are building up and not getting eaten? No. And let's go check this area. We're not at maximum feeder efficiency over here, but we also don't really have the space to do all of that. Are any of y'all eating stem cells? Oh, I can at least turn one of you off of eating stem cells, 2 of you off from eating stem cells. Let's turn you all off of eating stem cells. We've got 2 berry plants. I don't think that's quite enough to maintain all 3 of these feeders, but we'll let it run and see. Welcome to the party, pal. Yeah. We're basically getting goofy with it. And, ooh, shit. We have to turn off the bloom, I think. Yeah. Alright, we need to turn off the plasma bloom we've been letting our berries have. God, we're not even maintaining above 150 biomass. Like, god damn. We could try to build another one of these, but nah, there just ain't the space for that. Oh, a tardigrade scales game. Hey, yeah, just Julius. We're trying to scale, but we are reaching a hard point, breaking through. We hit 150 at once, but to get to 200 biomass, it's gonna require just such a biomass density that I don't know how we maintain. I do not know. Well, we have excess protein there that's not being gathered. We're keeping on top of the protein down here for the most part. Yeah. We have a small amount of excess. No, there's still one. Who's starving? You? Do we not have enough feeders? Trickle of protein. Oh, this finally is done. All right. Let's take out our grubs. We now have this zone we get to play in a little more. So what do we want to do? We got a little bit of food. We could do what? So each berry grass is 2 berries. So we would need what? 1, 2. 3 should be able to feed 2 fully operational feeders. And then 2 feeders gets us 6 micro agave. How much of this do you produce? Oh, who's starving? Oh, goddamn, what? Are our feeders not getting enough food out here? Or do we not have enough feeders? Let's slap a new feeder in this area, see if that helps fix any of those problems. Alright, we got our feeders, we got our berries. That means we should be able to slot in... Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 5, 6. Wait, mineral pod? What? I need another feeder up here as well? Here's what we're gonna do. We need access into these crevasses a little bit, so I gotta figure out how to get an angle in them with, oh boy. Shoot. Am I just built in such a way that I won't be able to? Oof, yeah, so I'd have to be here. And you're like 1 pixel over. God damn. Here's what we'll do. We'll swap places between these two. So you can go there, and then you can go there. And that should allow all this to connect up. And then with that, we should be able to start building into these crevasses. Cool. That gets us a little more access. Plasma is doing okay. Who else is starving? You're starving? We just built up new feeders. Ain't no way you're starving. So that's gotta be the fruit then. If they're still saying they're starving, I feel like that means it has to be there's not enough fruit for the feeders to maintain themselves. Oh. Hey, come on. All of our grass should be allowing feeders. What the hell? Maybe I started with too much grass over here. It's probably just hard for them to just get up and rotating. We're doing on biomass. We're almost at 150 again. Oh, protein is having a hard time. Do I need to make more of these, like, carnivorous protein factories? Maybe. We will see. Where could I slot a new carnivorous protein? I'd rather have it feeding off of berries than off of my stem cells. So I guess over here we turn off stem cells. We let it eat off the berries with the feeders. We see if that'll produce a little bit more protein. How much protein do you add? We've only got 1 of them, right? And that's 2? Yeah, that's not really going to solve it. We could get rid of the Lumina Floridil. We aren't using it very effectively, honestly, but it's so cool. It's such a cute little plant. I want to leave our little light bulb plant. Are these amoebas? Well, these are stem cells. They're our basic worker unit. They build our plants for us and produce our plasma. These are feeder cells. They eat stem cells and berries and produce excess energy to make other plants run more efficiently, essentially. Ooh, we need more berry. Need more berry. We could get rid of the land chest, guys. We don't really use them for anything. So we'll do that. We'll get rid of them. That'll let us add in at least one more berry over here. Okay, anywhere where food is not being eaten. We have a little bit of a hard time maintenance here, but no food buildup. No food buildup. Little hard efficiency here, but no food buildup. I'm seeing a little bit of food over here. Oh, that's things I think die.
Whatever you say, King. 100 emoji.
Alright, Queenie. How has your day been, Queenie? Got any fun things you're getting up to? Oh, wait, but that was the only instance I had of that thing. So we no longer have the biodiversity. Shoot. Are there only 18 buildings? Do I need to build one of everything? Is there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, what's this? Unknown plant? 18, 19. There's 19. Oh, and I don't have a grub building either. Okay. We could throw the grubs somewhere, probably. There's probably something we could dig up, right? And we'll throw the grubs here and let them have fun with this, or whatever. Alright. Resources are looking good, so let's go ahead and click on our berries and do a bloom. See what that does for our plasma. Down to negative. So we're still at positive 20. Positive 12. Gosh, you can see it like clicking down every so often. Yeah, so these feeders aren't actually getting enough food, it seems. Can I get an angle from you? All right, let's go ahead, recycle one of these feeders. So we can get another hub looking down into this other crevasse. So we could try to expand production a little bit. Alright, we ran out of plasma, so we're turning off the bloom. Build another fruit, then we'll try to rebuild a feeder. Oh, protein's going down again. So here, not a lot of protein buildup, a little bit of protein buildup. But we do kind of handle this relatively quickly. Ah, shit. A plant died. Alright, but we still have enough biodiversity. We didn't really need that plant, I suppose. What's up? Yeah, these boys want even more berries, clearly. There's clearly not enough berries for all these feeders I have in this area. We'll get another berry plant up and running. I did have a gossip sesh, though. Was called into work at 8 with 3 hours of sleep. I am so sorry. Was it a productive gossip sesh? Did it make up for the no sleep at all? Or was it not really worth it? I don't know, y'all. You guys, any of y'all think you have any ideas how we can build up better density? Can I build over my neurons? No, I think my neurons do block me from building, so I can't get into this area all that much. Let's see here. We've got our stem cell producer here. Boys are coming out and eating. So anywhere we could produce more food. Yeah, right here, this is currently the area where I'm needing a lot more berries to maintain all these feeders. I mean, I could respawn, try to get some more lanchettes, clear a few more, like, wild plants. I don't know. Let's go ahead and get another one of you. So wait, how much? Well, let's look at this system. How much? It needs 1 protein. Creates 1 protein from 100 calories every 30 seconds. And then how much protein do you use? Creates calories per protein consumption. So you produce 2.4 to 3 protein per minute. And we need 1 protein for 30 seconds. So that's 2 protein a minute versus 3 protein. All right, so carnivorous plant into berry should be an efficient system, right? Should work, I guess. Okay, I'll turn this on for short term. Keep you from starving to death. We'll let you eat some of our stem cells. Once this berry plant's online, though, you're not allowed to eat our little guys anymore, okay? God damn, eating all our biodiversity. Replace some things, maybe? Well, what do you think we should be replacing? Like, obviously, I could build the warriors, clear out some more wild plants. We just don't have a ton of them that are actually taking up space, I don't think. That's like 3 right there. Okay, no more eating our people, okay? We could try to cram down some more things into these zones, but there's only so many things we can build where there isn't fertile soil. We have some more efficiency. We got 1 plant. We can't really replace the neurons. I would love to replace the neurons, to be fair. But it's just not really worth it for the neuron. Oh, what do we got over here? Oh. Yeah, no, you're not getting any of that. Okay, not seeing a buildup of food, so clearly we're eating that quick enough. Alright, I think it's time for a big old bloom. We're gonna start spending all of our plasma. See if we can't do a big fruit bloom for everybody. See if that does. Hey, we're at 150 again. Alright, we broke it through 150, but we gotta go up by another 50. God fucking damn. Could do more storage buildings, which don't require like a major upkeep, I guess. Just anywhere we have space and sunlight, we could shove those guys in. We also have these ones. Need to be next to a vesicle and in sunlight. But they don't seem to cost really anything, so we'll put them wherever we can. Don't go in there, can't go there. Seems to be about all that can do. We might be able to fit one around you somehow, but nah. Okay, who's starving? You guys are still starving? We have so much fruit in here. Oh, wait. Wasn't paying attention to plasma. Burnt up our plasma bloom, and it only took us up to 155. God damn. Woo, baby, we are taking up like so much surface space, aren't we? Okay, so both of you. Oh wait, we'll see. Can I ban you from doing that? I don't know. We got a lot of feeders in here on those berries already. We'll try. We'll see if you start starving. You got a red thing. Don't think the plant can grow. Oh no, that is different. That's a wild plant. All right, we'll look at clearing out what's left of our wild plants then. Can I shove you anywhere easily? Is there anywhere we got space? All right, we got some space right in here. We're gonna shove you right up. Beautiful. We'll spawn some lanchettes. We'll clear out the last of the wild plants we have. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll give us a little more space to try to grow into, but it's not going to give us a lot. We're also starting to get into a pretty serious problem when it comes to protein. So we have how many carnivorous plants? Let's actually, I want to check our ratio. So we have 3 carnivorous plants producing 6 protein. And we have 25 berry grass eating 50. Yeah, so we can just put carnivorous plant next to berry grass, carnivorous plant next to berry grass, and that'll be a good, like, balance out for resources. But for spacing, you know, I don't know how that's gonna work. Because if we fill up all of the gaps we have anywhere with, like, berry grass, carnivorous plant, berry grass, carnivorous plant, then we won't run out of protein in any way. I just don't know if that's, like, space usage versus biomass production efficient. Alright, we are back up to our maximum plasma, so we're going to expend all of our plasma to just bloom all of our berry plants again. What are we doing? Oh, we don't need to produce that many. 2's fine for this. We got our 2 lanchettes. We'll clear this out. We could do some more carnivorous plants down here to help with our protein production. And clear that out. Clear that out, and then there's one more plant way up here that we could clear out. Alright, berries, sorry. We don't have enough for this anymore. That's turned off. We're gonna put a carnivorous plant here that'll just eat some of the berries. Alright, and I got an idea. I think we're gonna get rid of this boy where he is. build them more like this. And we'll see if that gets us enough room. Oh, man, so close. All right, main thing then is having the grubs dig this out, because then we could probably move it over even more. You see, because if we can move that all the way over into this corner, that should give us enough space to start pumping in even more plants. Because this is just, oh, it's just barely incapable of fitting something in, you know? Oh, you're just not mature enough. Okay. Well, eventually our grubs will dig that up. Is there anywhere else blocked by grub? Oh, shit. What's happening over here? Oh, you don't have enough toxin. Oh, because I moved my toxin. You don't have toxin. Because you don't have toxin, you're not producing light. All right, so that should be resolved once this baby gets back online. All right, that's back online. All that's back online. All right, that's good. Who's starving? You're starving? You shouldn't be starving. Hey, Chimmy Joe, welcome, welcome. We are playing Primordial Empire. This is a microbial colony manager, where we are a hive mind slowly growing in the vastness of undersea. Arthropod tycoon? Not even arthropods. We've got stem cells, which are just like simple boys. We've got feeder cells, and we've got plants. We are working at the absolute bottom of the food chain here, trying to build the ultimate microorganism colony. But welcome, welcome, Chippy Joe. How's your fucking weekend going, my guy? Is there anywhere overproducing food? Nowhere is overproducing food. We cleared out that thing. See if we can send them over to clear cut this. Try to get up our protein production by putting in another protein plant. Cutting this out, maybe we get another berry plant in here since we seem to be above our needs on protein. Yeah, so we can slap a protein plant in here once our lanchets clear that out. Beautifully done. And we've only got like one more plant we can clear out, so we might as well go for it. Send our little warrior bugs up to take care of that. It was our birthday day. It was our birthday dates? Hell yeah, my dude. Happy birthday. It's good. Me and my wife tried blacksmith. Right, you were doing the blacksmithing. I remember, and you got a free roll with it, right? Were both of you able to, like, get into what you wanted? Alright, and then what do we want to make use of this for? I mean, these guys aren't getting that feeder efficiency, so we could do feeders, but I think, honestly, it's the perfect amount of space. We'll just slap an extra grass in here, just produce a little more food, which will allow us to produce a little more stem cells. Should be fine. All right, we're back up to maximum, so let's go ahead and turn on the bloom again. See if that'll at least get us above 160. God, trying to get to 200 is gonna be crazy. Sup, fuckhead. Sup, Azzy. Welcome, welcome. Who's starving? Oh, you? Yeah, I was about to say, you got sunlight. You shouldn't be starving over here. There's a lot of places that grass is allowed to starve. That is not one of them, though. Alright. Oh, nope, not that. There we go. We didn't even get to 160 on our biomass total. God damn. It seems to be going up a little bit now, but... Okay. Ew, what? Oh, was I not hitting shift? Wait, no, that should... Yeah, shift click should turn it off on all of them, right? Yeah. Okay, weird. Maybe I was hitting the wrong button there. Re-add, sorry, Azzy. I'm sorry. It's the only way for me to turn off pre-roll ads. Yeah, she made a bracelet. I made earrings out of the 19mm wrench. God damn, bruh. What did that wrench ever do to you? Okay, wait. How much biodiversity are my genetic samplers giving me? Because if we don't need genetics anymore... So we've got 2 genetic samplers. They're giving me 2 biomass. So can I do higher efficiency biomass by getting... Well, this is sunny and fertile, right? So that can turn all into agave. Which will produce more food, which will let us explode our stem cells a little bit. So I think, yeah, trading out that one at least should be good. So you're all fertile as well, but I think you'd only be protein, right? You wouldn't be food. Still, okay, so what's our biomass for the protein pods? 26 to 7 is really bad, actually, yeah, so maybe don't even... If we take that out, we could produce another one of these carnivorous plants and do a carnivorous plant next to a berry fruit. Because that is a lot of space still. Yeah, if we don't need the DNA, let's get rid of those. Oh, there was no fertile over there. Oh, it was eating minerals. Okay. I forgot that we could also do that system. Here's what we do then. Then we replace that. Carnivorous plant next to a berry grass. We do another... Ah, not quite. That's an okay combo right there. So that won't affect our protein production, ultimately. And you... Okay, you're not allowed to eat the stem cells anymore. I'll even make you a whole extra fucking berry. Wait, who's starving? Y'all starving. Hey, all grass, you're all allowed to eat sunlight, please? What the fuck? Why did all y'all think you were starving on fertile soil with sunlight? Shut the fuck up. This fucking grass. Nothing, but it was cut in half and turned into earrings. Alright, fair enough, Chibi Joe. You fucking show that wrench who's boss. Oh, do we not? Did the berry grass? Oh, the berry grass just doesn't berries yet. Alright, let's let all of our berry grass eat some plasma for a little bit. Like, if we can get to the point that we produce enough plasma to actually maintain all of our berry grass using plasma, we could, I think, go pretty crazy with it. We're definitely not there yet. We're, like, teetering back and forth, so we might be close. Oh god, no, don't die. Alright, you can eat a couple of stem cells. You can eat a couple of stem cells to not die until the berries are ready. I'll let you eat a couple of our stem cells. Alright, no more stem cells. We should have enough berries around for you to eat now. Alright, we're almost at 160. Our plasma isn't quite emptied out yet. It is ticking down, I think, overall. It's hard to tell. I think ultimately it's still ticking down. We still aren't producing quite enough plasma to maintain all of our berries with plasma bonus. Yeah, it seems like not quite. Not quite. But unless I'm gonna try to build something, we can just leave it off for now. Or, oh, what's up? What's up with you guys? Oh, right. You guys don't have sunlight. Okay, we'll just turn all that off. Sorry. For these guys, my vesicles. Do vesicles count for, biomass? I don't think they do. How's this going? You guys not digging that up anymore? What? Ayo, grubbies, what's going on? Oh, I think my grubs keep getting killed by the toxin. So we might be unable to ever get into the toxins over there. God damn it. We're never going to be able to clear that out and move our toxin thing over. Fuck! My poor little grubs! No! Don't kill off my ah, damn. Oh well. Yeah, well, best we could do, I guess. What's up with you? What do you mean you don't have feeders? You got tons of feeders. Feeders aren't even starving. Oh wait, you need line of sight to the feeders? Shit. That's a little rough. Okay, here's what we'll do. Best I could do for you, then. Oh, boys. This is feeling all... like I'm getting closer and closer to my max efficiency, you know? Oh, over here. What do we... Who's starving? Oh, I need that for my neurons. Okay, sorry, plants. We're turning off your little bloom, then. Sorry, my fruit plants. We can't do that any longer. We don't have the excess plasma. Protein feels a bit weird. It feels like it's been negative this whole time, but we haven't actually gone down on it. So I feel like I've got to be fucking up something here. Negative 33, negative 26, negative yada yada. Well, maybe it's like, we do have a negative essentially, but I think we produce a thing, right? And then it exists for its whole life cycle. So maybe this negative just isn't reading properly. Yeah, because like we have the feeder hubs, But if we're not growing a new feeder, then it's not actually using it. Like, the only things that I think are consistently using this are going to be the berry grass, the enzyme distillery, and the lumiflora. But even if it's not the feeders only do like 10. Most of it's berry grass. Where are my carnivorous plants contributing? 6 to 2? For carnivorous plants barely contribute then. The feeder hubs seem to be one of our most dense fucking items. For, like, biodiversity. You know what? I just want to see what happens now. Hey, feeders. All of you... So we're at 160 right now. All of my feeders are allowed to eat our stem cells now. I'm just gonna let that run that way for a little bit. Hey, shift all. Which affect all of you. You're not gonna make me, like, go to each one of these, are you? Oh god, maybe control click? Maybe it's control, not shift? Oh god, no, they're gonna make me go to all of them. Okay, we're gonna turn all these boys, let them eat whatever they want. And we're going to see then what that does to our biomass, whether it causes it to go up or down. I think it would make it go down, you know? That's my assumption. But we will see. We'll let it run that way for a little bit. And we'll come back and we'll tell them they can't anymore if it only causes harm to our biomass. Let's come down from 160 to 155? Or, oh, what's up? Hey, yo, what happened to my enzymes? What? That was weird. Oh, wait, did biomass go up? Hold up. My mass is now 166. So, theory. Okay, new theory, y'all. Giving anything multiple options will just increase its efficiency. So, it's for the best if you can afford it to let everything eat and feed and go off of everything else. Because even if they're eating some of these guys, maybe it causes more efficient food production or whatever. $165, 166. Ooh. Oh, we've got a bit of a food glut in a couple of... Oh, but here's the problem with us letting them feed over here now. Because we don't have a spawner, though. That food goes to a bit of waste, doesn't it? Oh, wait, but I didn't even let you start hunting. I let you start hunting. And I let you start hunting. Alright, we're gonna not allow this shit in this area to hunt specifically. Alright. This zone, no hunting. It's a bit of a tricky zone for us. Because we can't, there's no fertile soil, so we can't put any stem cell spawners over here. So if they get eaten to death, they can't refill. Like, just as a timing thing. But pretty much everywhere else, it's chill. Yeah, no, we're at 170 already. So yeah, I should have been letting everybody eat, like, where it wasn't causing actual spawn problems. And they're already naturally drifting to this. What's up, Enzyme? What's going on with our Enzyme? Are we, like, producing too slowly? Do I need to crank out another Enzyme building? Hope not. These boys do not fit into convenient locations. We seem to be running okay. It might just be like a 0.1 second sort of delay thing sometimes. We're doing 175. All right. Yeah, no, that biomass is growing now. All right, so it seems like maybe what it is they'll do a preference for the berries. As long as there are berries. We've got these berries here that aren't being eaten. We'll just find anywhere we can slot a small little grass into. Fill in all the little tiny gaps. We got feeders in here, so we could fit in another grass. Now let's do that. Let's just start, like, filling in all of the gaps with grass. Now that we're allowing our feeders to eat these guys, I think that means we'll have even more excess energy we get to slot into stuff. And let's go with that. Let's just go everything eats everything. I eat you, you eat me. We infinitely eat each other forever. You know? I think that's just how it works. I think we're all just constantly birthing and feeding and consuming and birthing and multiplying and feeding and sorry, I know it came over me. So we're playing D&D one time. I don't remember how this happened, but I was playing D&D with my friends. And at one point, we joked about a concept that we called the infinite rat. And the idea behind the infinite rat was that there was a dimension, I think, like that you could banish someone to. Like it was fully its own dimension, you know? And in that dimension, there was a colony of rats. Simply that we referred to as the infinite rat. And it was something you couldn't kill, right? It was something you couldn't kill because it was constantly replenishing itself, essentially. Like the rats would eat the other rats, and by eating the rats they would then have enough energy to birth more rats. So it was just an infinite swarm of rats constantly eating. It was like something I think it was when we had learned about the concept of like a rat king or whatever. And so that was just a joke for a while of just, yeah, you better be careful, we'll find a way to banish something to the rat dimension where they'll be birthing and eating and feeding and killing and birthing, and it was just like that for like a minute straight, essentially. And just the big joke being like, you can never allow the infinite rat to essentially escape. you know? Because if it ever escapes its original dimension, it'll, Where are we seeing starvation? Over here? Do we just not have enough feeders? We could plug in more feeders if it's just a feeder problem. And it was fucking glorious. And I nearly, I spat drink out literally once. Because I know this was a while ago. This might have been a year or less ago. I'm not sure. But it was a while ago. I was watching a stream. And Junie suddenly made a joke where she was like, yeah. And then they'll just be birthing and feeding and growing and birthing. And I was just fucking losing my shit. I was losing my shit. And I'm like, oh my god. Not her TNT bit. What are you doing? Oh, hey, Clizzard. Hey, I'm almost done with my gift. Oh, shit, really? I can't wait to see it. Fuck. I hope I get to see it in real life, though. Like, I'd love to just see photos once it's fully done. I'm so excited for that little gremlin. Cursed item, a bag of infinite rats. Opens a portal to the rat dimension. Counts at a cataclysmic event. Oh my fucking god. Just an end to all things. How do you fight the rat which is infinite? Right, anywhere where we're getting food problems. Well, I can just turn that off for you guys. Should be good. Do we have a build-up? We have a build-up of food here, technically. That's because we keep sending grubs to it. That's more of an on-me thing. Yeah, we'll turn that off to send all our grubs to dig out some more space there. We could slot in more grass. Nothing is starving here. So see if we can maintain 2 more grass in this little alcove. Also slot in 1 more grass in this one. Ooh. We do have a lot of food in here now, suddenly. If we could just get some of them in there, then maybe they'll be able to keep themselves alive. I know, we do have a lot of feeders in here, unfortunately. So I don't know if they'd be able to spawn out at a fast enough rate. Alright, maybe we delete one of the... nope. Is it too big? It's too big! Alright, fuck it. We'll do it this way. Keep only 1 feeder. With 3 grasses in there. And we'll take a lot of these boys. Just shove them down into that little food alcove, essentially. If we could just get enough to, like, outbreed these feeders, we should be good. Oh, wow, thanks. Also got... I go a motorized rotary stand for figures, so I'll record it spinning. You spin right round, me right round. So we've got feeders, berries, so we could also put in grass over here as well. Can't really maintain too many grasses, but, you know, some. Hey, I think we've outbred the feeders in this zone. Perfect. Who's starving? You're starving, really? No, you just got fed by a feeder? You're good. Don't tell me you're starving. How we doing over here? Pretty solid. We could add in this space. Do we have just enough? No, we don't have enough space there, damn. All that's taken up. All that's taken up. All that's taken up. Right, we could put a feeder here then. With an extra grass. And we'll let that go. We'll see how that all works out then. Yeah, 178. I definitely should have been allowing the feeders to feed. Here, obviously, we have to maintain the restriction because we can't get any spawners in here. So we need to let all the stem cells that make it into this zone just not get fed upon. But this, I think, is our only restricted zone for that. Ooh, we have a lot of berries here. They're just, like, available. We'll slot in an extra feeder here, because there's, like, yeah, there's a lot of berry buildup here. So we should, I think, be able to support one more feeder. This is all looking good. No one's starving in here. Maybe that means we can slot in... Oh, yeah, no, we just... No space. No space, really. And, yeah, that gets a little too tight. But we can put one more here. Alright, we'll do one more there. Who's starving? This dude again. But we just put in a new feeder. How are you starving? You're lying to me. I also got some gifts for Kalia and Fenari. Oh, fuck yeah! Blub, blub. I agree. Alright. Time for the bloom. And if we're lucky... If we're lucky, we finally got our stem cells to the point that we can actually maintain this. We will see. Because if our berries can start producing crazy fast... then that means our feeders will start reducing the amount they're feeding on the stem cells, so we get maximum efficiency with reduced loss of life. That's the big goal. The big goal is to get to the point that we can run our berries on plasma. It's going down, I think, but significantly slower than it has before. So we might be able to actually do a massive bloom of biomass. Oh, and over here, our grubs have almost dug out a little bit more space for us, so that's pretty good. Who's starving? Oh, you? Really? No, you have a feeder coming to you right now. Fuck off. Don't tell me you're starving. Absolute lying bastard. Oh shit. I think we are maintaining all of our berries via plasma. Holy shit, we might have done it then. Alright, if we're able to maintain our berries via plasma... Ooh, wait. Do I have someone feeding on my pollos? Because we've got a food surplus here. Why do we have a food surplus here? We're gonna watch over here for a second, because I think that's our only feeder in the area. He's not allowed to eat them. Well, we do have this feeder over here. Ooh, you overlap the area. Yeah, you're not allowed to eat stem cells. Okay, that might have been just this guy, like, making his way slowly around and into this zone. I'll restrict that. You should be doing okay. Alright, 178. So we've got another 20 we need to do. Plop. There was a magic pixel by the blue thing on the left. Magic pixel? Sorry, I probably didn't notice when you told me that, but... How we doing? Soon we'll have a bit more space, then what? Well, we have a bit more space in here, then I would like... 2 extra feeders. 2 extra berries, then just a ton of grass. Then in this zone, we could also try to build up a bit of a circle. Oh, do you guys swim over here? All right, I see what I gotta do. Repulsive pheromone. Don't go into the poison anymore, okay? Okay, my little guys, don't go into there. And ads. But it was when you were trying to put another thing in the area to the left. How far left? By the blue capsule thing? So over here? I think we had a magic pixel zone. Oh! Hey! You right. No, you right. Thank you. That's all going well. We had 180 for a second there. Our plasma's doing great. Ooh. Let's go ahead and restrict these guys. Got a lot of berries in here, and since our berries are now also doing plasma, we can just like let them fucking chill, you know? Yeah, just make this whole zone a no eating them zone. Like, it's still a good efficiency thing, but we don't have a population spawner in here, so we can't permanently maintain it. Hey, good job, grub boys. Good job. Alright. Once I think these berries catch up to our current feeders, they should outmatch our feeders here. We should be able to build even more grass into the area. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 berries to sustain 3 feeders? 3 feeders times 3 is 9. 5 berries times 2 is 10. So yeah, that should be more than enough. We seem to only have 1 stem cell. Now, I'm gonna just use our last little feed thing. Try to get the stem cell an excess amount of food. Try to get them multiplying. That's what we do. So we also want... Maybe it's more about the positioning of the grass? Let's make sure we have, like, grass in all directions. Cool. 183. We seem to be rocking to some degree, then. No one's been starving in here. Any magic pixels? Maybe here? No, no magic pixel there. Okay. All of that's pretty much taken up. So we could throw 1 there. Seem to have a little bit of a food buildup here. Alright, here's what we do. We're gonna turn them off. Of that, so our little guys can come down. Yeah. Because they can get out and get to berries, but our guys, once they're in here, if they get eaten, they don't replenish it. So we'll just say this guy can't eat them. Everyone else can, so now our little boys, yeah, can multiply forever in there. Who's starving? No one's actually starving. That's good. All of this is full of life. They've started eating all that food. There's still this thing down here, but that's because of toxins, so there's not much we can do about that. Up here's looking good. That's like as dense as we can get everything. Like, maybe we'll take a look. Yeah, we've got this like jam-packed in there. I would love to, but you're not in range of a feeder over there, so we can't really make use of that. Slop there. No, there. Maybe. Hey, one little spot. In here. Alright, that's all fully maintaining. That we know is as dense as it can be. That's as dense as it can be. We just re-upped that one's density. Can't do grass really in here. Maybe there'll be an angle that it'll aim up, but I don't think so. Oh wait, right there will work. That's it. I think we're pretty fucked in how tight this zone gets. Yeah. Nothing on those. Cool. Can't get a feeder to that. That's cool. This boy might need an extra feeder mixed in, but I think we'll be able to pull that off. Okay. How we looking? How we looking, y'all? Pretty maximum ooh, so I think in here is our next like big density play. Or not. Are we already... Damn, pretty packed in there. Okay. Put a little grass there. That's all good. Guess we could put one here, but if we go over there, we might start getting poisoned. Still, we'll see if we can sneak in those two. Dense to hell. Yep, that's the best we can do. Oh. Yeah, no, they got poisoned. Alright, fair enough. It's gonna be a little tricky, but maybe possible. Alright, what are we at? 186. Oh, boy. 186. Oh, wait, do we have a spawner? We have a stem cell spawner here. We have a spawner right here. That means we can go pretty... insane on density, I think. I'm gonna make one more attempt. I think maybe just this one might be just out of the poison enough. Yeah, all right. I think that's just out of the poison enough that we can maintain that. Alright, 185. Oh, we're so fucking close. We're so fucking close to hitting 200. Oh, poor guy. Alright, that one was starved. Okay. We did have one starvation happen, damn. Oh wait, are we gonna hit 190? Not quite. Can I push back one neuron somewhere, maybe? I guess if we have a neuron that's like a single connection, you could technically push that back. These are all multi-connected. This is a chain that goes into a multi-connection. You have 2 connections. Very tight, and it comes to loose. But if we sever this, we lose our length connection here. And that'll be a little tricky to work around. Alright, maybe what I gotta do is fit in a grub somewhere over here, clear out this diamond, essentially. Let's go for that. Let's reduce our protein production short term. Get a grub hub out. Send all the grubs over here. Try to dig out this diamond. Give us some more space to try to produce more things. This is another place, but like obviously we can't even build in there, so it doesn't super matter. Assume, yeah, that's too small. Is there anything smaller I could maybe just slot in there? Not really. Maybe I could fit you. Okay, we could fit a couple of plasma storage. That'll get us a little more biomass in that tight area. Okay, little grubs, dig that out. Eventually we'll have a little bit more space. We can definitely do grass around this. Maybe one fruit or something. Oh. Yeah, this whole little alcove's having a problem. I think I have to let these guys eat. I think that's the only way we're gonna do this. Anywhere we're seeing a backup of food not getting eaten. I don't think I see anywhere where food isn't getting eaten. We're still eating in here. We still have this death pit over here. Only there was a way to, like, kill the toxins forever, you know? But, we're at 195. Oh, we hit 195. We're so close to hitting 200. I think this could do it for us, but that's going to take forever to actually dig out. Come on. You know, none of that. No magic pixel there, no magic pixel there. That angle's too harshly. It's all the way around. Wait, we removed that, so we don't need this grub anymore? Is there anything we can... The poison near here, I don't know if there's anything we can actually do. We'll give it a shot. Nope, not the top, not the top. Oh my god, is it impossible for me to hit the grubs without hitting... Oh my god, how big is your... He's so bit... Fuck. Alright, well that kind of sucks. That's a bit of a rough one, unfortunately. So what can I... Ooh, actually, I know something I can do in this tight space. Okay, so we're going to build a vesicle hub, because then we can build plasma pods, which are another really small thing, and they don't give us a lot of biomass. But they fit into these really tight spaces. So yeah, we can at least build one of them in there. Yeah, so that gives us a little more biomass in this area, at least. We could even do one more, like, here. That's like the most we can jam pack in there, but that might get us like a good 1 to 2 biomass in the area. This game looks surprisingly chill. Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite types of like efficiency management games, where you aren't on a timer for anything. You're just desperately trying to find where you can fit in more efficiency, essentially. And then you can zoom out and see the insanity you've built. Lord. Look at all that. Yeah, because this game isn't about, oh, dang, you have to, like, actually beat out, like, you don't have a hunger meter, a food, a drink meter, anything like that. It's just everything will take care of itself, but if you want everything to grow, you need to provide it more. You need to keep providing more and more efficient, high-density, open options to really expand. Damn. I think we'll hit 195 again, but I don't know if we'll be able to break past it. Yeah, so this gem is going to be, I think, one of our big blockers that we have to take out. I don't know. I could try to reduce my protein storage. Like, I could take out these or these. Let's go ahead and take out some of our protein storage, I guess. Take out some protein storage. Add in an extra feeder. Extra berry. And 2 extra grass into this area. Like, that brings us down a little bit in how much protein we can store, obviously, but maybe that's a good exchange for a little higher biomass density. Oh yeah, we're at 197. Oh my god, we might be able to do it, y'all. We might be able to do it. Oh, it came down to 196. I'm gonna use my last little feed button. Excess food right there. There's a little bit of excess food. See if that spikes it randomly. I'm out of uses now. Once we dig that gem out and we get rid of the grub, if we get rid of both of these, that should give us enough space to actually pack in a lot more density. Oh wait. Do we have like new fruit things that weren't using plasma then? Might have been. Oh, we're really coming down from 196. 193? Okay, we're going back up. 194. Down to 192. Damn it. Alright, these little alcoves aren't building up foods. They're maintaining themselves. I do have food build up over here, though. Actually, quite a bit of food buildup over here. I'm gonna add in even more. We'll see if just sending a big pack of guys into this, they'll be able to maintain themselves. Because there's like one thing feeding in here. And I could tell it's not allowed to feed, but I like the efficiency of one of these feeders doing it. I just need to make sure we outbreed it in this little zone. Yeah, that put us up to 198. I think, just taking over that zone. If we could somehow eliminate this fucking toxin, if that wasn't... Wait, did we do it? Oh my god, y'all. Okay. So, that was the Primordial Empire's economic, and I think that'll be it. Yeah, and we got a 3-star on it for hitting 200. Hell yeah. So, that is the demo for Primordial Empire. There's also a combat scenario available. That'll involve a lot more little enemy colonies that send parasites into your land. It'll end up being a lot more dependent on producing those Lancaster units, and then sending them out to eventually find the enemy hives and eliminating them yourself. There also looked like there was one locked building in the combat tree that I imagine you don't get to see until you get pretty deep into that scenario. But this is sort of the game. You build up, you try to find the maximum efficiency, and you can fight, kill, survive, and take over the entire area, running yourself as a little micro colony. Only a demo right now, so you have those 2 scenarios, and you have a series of tutorials you can get up to. But that's pretty much all they have available right now. But it's something I'm looking forward to. Like I said, my big theory is that the game's going to work in its end state a lot like a sort of survival puzzle game, essentially, where you'll be in a series of environments that are, like, not conducive to easy, basic growth, right? Where you have to figure out how to jump over, like, a desert of resources, or to transport certain things from one side to the other, or to eventually get enough buildup of resources that you can start bringing sunlight into it with the luminescent plants or anything like that. And honestly, that's like my favorite style of like colony builder, where it's a series of puzzles that you're solving, and you have all the time in the world to build up to whatever efficiency you think you can reach. But with that, that is all the time we have for Primordial Empires, y'all. Oh, man. I hope y'all had fun, because I certainly did. It was good. I'm glad I got to share that with y'all, and we will now be returning to our focus on Breath Edge and the altars. Though we do have something special planned for tomorrow as a final reminder before it happens. Tomorrow, Sunday, Richard and I will be doing a collab stream where we are going to be playing a drinking game based around Metal Gear lore. If you're a big fan of the Metal Gear games, show up, because if you can correct us, you might force us to get absolutely hammered. And if you're not, you might enjoy playing along with us. Just make sure you don't fucking die. So thank you all. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Hope to see you all again just as soon as possible. So let's go ahead and send y'all off to... You know what? I don't even know if I've raided this person recently. I think I've only raided them once, in fact. So I'll send you off to another one of the amazing bug people that exist out there. So, here is our raid target. Here is our raid message. And I hope to see you all again just as soon as possible. Remember, I love you all. So let's get ready to raid in 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's go, girls.